Welcome, BBCers, to episode number 225 of the Broken by Concept podcast, the number one League of Legends solo queue educational and motivational podcast. We've got Charlie here joining us for the sixth installment in our case study series. Our audience loves these episodes. What we do is we have sort of a subject that we will apply all our broker by concept principles, mindset, Curtis and I's coaching experience, and now Charlie's over the years, applying it to the subject. Now, the subject that we have today is Ludwig. Now, who is Ludwig? He is a really big YouTuber. He has about 6 million subscribers. And recently, he has done a challenge or a bet with Tyler One to get to platinum by the end of the year, starting from Iron. So this case study is going to be more about the new player league experience, and what these case studies are for people that don't know, or people may be seeing this maybe from Ludwig's audience for the first time, is these aren't necessarily to help the person or the subject, but it's more to sort of just document sort of the realities of people's experience with the rank ladder, the struggles, and sort of just demonstrate things to avoid, things what not to do. And it's really, really cool when we have a player like Ludwig, or, we've done the Nice ones, and we get to see their journey in real time. They live stream us. They're talking, it's raw after the game. What's their emotion? How they talking? So that's why it's really, really good when we do these case studies. We get to see it all. I spent the last, day or two going through all of Ludwig's recent streams. This is really recent as well. He's been literally playing today, and, the last week. He's literally just started this challenge. So, how this came across our desk, Curtis and I, we're investigators for the case studies here, and we get, I guess Charlie in this example throws a big manual or paperwork on our desk. What's going on? Who do we got to, who's our subject for today's case study? So this one came from our school community. This is from Adam, and this is how that came onto our radar. So Adam titled this post saying, Ludwig's journey is the epitome of the new player/league experience. Recently, the streamer Ludwig, he's taken up a monumental challenge of reaching plat by the end of the year, starting in Iron as an essentially new player to the game and MOBAs in general, as far as I'm aware. He's very quickly realizing that unlike the other games he has played, where if he just plays enough, he reaches a decent rank, he has settled around Bronze 2 and is struggling to get over the mental hurdles of the game. He's also playing jungle, which is inherently difficult role to learn the game on since you have minimal interaction with other champions and minions. He has, however, had some coaching and has settled on a solid champion pool of straightforward junglers like Amumu and Fiddlesticks, which I think has helped him greatly. But it is such a well-documented example of how brutal League of Legends is, and I have felt the exact way he has on my journey. What do you think of this journey? Do you think he has any chance of making it to plat? Would love to hear Curtis and Nathan's take on this climb. Well, here we are. So let's go over just some comments here that I pulled for people replying to this thread from our community. Armando here says, I think Bronze 2 is already pretty high considering he barely started playing League. Oftentimes, he doesn't even know what some champions do. I believe he can reach plat if his champion knowledge gets higher and mastery gets him there. I think he innately already has some skills from other games he's played, literally at a pro level. So I'd like to think he knows how to grind and review his mistakes. Jordan here says, I've watched him. He's improving at an okay pace. The only problem is his expectations for himself are insane. He wants to get to platinum by the end of this split as a new player who started in Iron skill level-wise, while also only playing 15 games a week or something. Even if he played like 40 games plus a week until the end of the split, it still would be a huge challenge to reach plat from where he started. Just reaching gold would be a huge accomplishment. Anyway, he's doing fine, and don't even think his journey has been brutal at all. He's just trying to one-trick Amumu, which is good, and he says he enjoys the champion, which is great. Just needs to relax a bit and understand the process to learning and improving at LoL. Takes a long time. Can't get plat overnight for someone who doesn't even have experience in the game. And then Adam here responded here, says, yeah, again, it shows just how different League is compared to games like Valorant and other online competitive games he's played. He hasn't yet grasped that, and just playing isn't enough. However, he's doing well, and I think Amumu is a good champion for him. Curtis here mentioned that we're going to be looking over it. And the last one I'll say here is that Peter here says, I'm used to watching him. He watches, Ludwig, funny streamer guy, but I can't enjoy watching him play this game. It seems like League brought out such a negative side of him. It reminds me too much of what I was like before I found this podcast, where I just didn't have fun with League, but played anyway. So this is sort of a bit of context background, how we found it. Any comments from you guys so far?
Nope.
All right, so what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to have sort of 6 different parts that we're going to break down. First up, we're going to take a look at his OPGG and talk a little bit about his background so we get context before we sort of go into the gameplay. All right, so diving into Ludwig's OPGG here on the North American server. So the first thing we usually look at is sort of some background here in terms of how long has he played. So everyone did say he's a new player here, but let's just confirm this here. So let's take a look. So currently this season, he's played about 200 games or so. Last season he played...
This is last split?
Last split, sorry. So 2024 split 2. He's played, let's say, about 30 games. He played Garen 15 games. Looks like it must have been top lane. It looks like he initially was top lane, and then he settled on jungle. Played Amumu and Fiddlesticks. And then if we go back to 2024 split 1, no games. So it looks like he has dabbled in the game slightly. Maybe, he obviously had to play normal games to get up, but it looks like this is the first time he's seriously played ranked. So, yep, very much new player to ranked. So let's start off now, Curtis, with his champions now here. So he's Silver 4 currently. Again, about 160 games played. Currently a 56% win rate. Amumu is his most played champion with 101 games, 58% win rate. So he's doing quite well.
He's doing pretty well on Fiddle at the moment.
And Fiddlesticks, 55% win rate on 42 games played. 58% win rate with 101 games played with Amumu. That's
pretty good.
He's climbed from Iron to Silver 4, right? So he's obviously winning in a pretty short time.
Yeah, it is his recent games as well. Look, he's like 67% win rate on his last 20 games.
Things are clicking. He seems to be definitely improving.
So this is interesting here. It looks like that he... So he sort of just went down like really trying to one-trick Amumu. He did weave in some Fiddlesticks games. It looks like it's because maybe Amumu was taken or banned.
Oh, right.
So it looks like his process was Amumu, unless Fiddle is banned or taken. And then now it looks like he's just going down the Fiddlesticks. It's just Fiddlesticks every single game.
I love this. It's kind of like a Champool cycle in a way.
Yeah, sort of Champool cycling here.
And they're both relatively simple junglers, right?
Yeah, we'll get into that once we start seeing gameplay. But yes, these champions have relatively simple reference points.
Those Reliant champions.
Very simple identities, playing around ulti, level 6. They're very solid junglers.
So other things that I'm looking at here, guys, is, these recent games here with Fiddlesticks, 5 CS, 5 CS.
What's his CS average over all the games? He averages 5.1 CS as Fiddle and 6 CS as Amumu.
And deaths as well. Fiddlesticks, he has 7.5 average deaths across 42 games, and then Amumu 5.5. So he's definitely dying a lot, and this is probably, to be expected, especially as a new player, because I've also heard him on stream as well. He's get frustrated where he was saying, these champions all have dashes, and he overextends, overreaches himself. He thinks he can kill someone, they're low HP, but then they dash or whatever. So there's definitely the element as well of, when I look at high deaths for a new player, and that's good. I think high deaths is good.
You have
to get in, you have to get messy.
You
have to start knowing what all champions do, right?
If you don't know if you can kill someone, you should do it. Right.
We have those extremes of the players that are too conservative and they really try and not die, and they just don't have that X factor of fighting, or you see it a lot with support players, especially enchanter players that maybe move to other roles where they're really just scared to fight. So I think it's fine. When I see this, I think this is a player.
I think this is a pretty perfect RPG, to be honest.
This is a player that's going to be steadily climbing, and he's serious about improving at the game.
He's doing the right thing.
All right, so any other comments? We won't talk about builds.
I think we just move in, honestly. I think
here.
there's not really much to say here. I think we see what he's playing. He's doing the right thing.
All right, so we've sort of got some background here. Also as well in terms of his former background. So we talk a lot about the importance of...
Gaming background.
Understand your gaming background to know how quickly you might climb in League. Let's say if you played PC competitive games in the past a lot, then typically... we could see most of the time a really, really high rate of improvement. Like, you know, you and I have worked with a bunch of ex-Overwatch or Dota pro players and stuff like that, and they can get to Diamond pretty comfortably, you know, even the Master and stuff like that pretty quickly, like in the first month or so. Sorry, the first maybe split or couple of months. So Ludwig specifically, he was I looked it up, is a semi-professional Super Smash Bros. Player. So that's not PC. We're talking about it's like the Nintendo, right? Like, what's the...
Yeah, I don't know. That's how little we know.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I never played this sort of stuff.
He played Smash Bros. Melee.
Smash Bros. Melee.
Yeah, so he probably played with like an
joystick,
arcade
right?
setup. Yes,
I see.
an arcade setup or an N64 controller.
I think it's the N64 controller. That's what you say. I actually have watched documentaries on the Super Smash scene. It's actually really interesting. I like to see
it. Is quite cool. It is quite cool.
So that's his background. Now, when we talk about semi-professional, someone in the school post, they said it was pro level. I asked a bunch of people around. He never was really even close to like the top. Like, I was trying to get a rank we could maybe estimate. Like, I would say what I heard from people is that he's probably around. He was like a Diamond Smash player, I would say, in like Diamond ranking seasons, like 6 and 8 equivalent of League of Legends.
Okay, so good. Definitely good.
So definitely good. He has that experience, and you know, we're sort of maybe seeing this, you know, going from Iron to Silver 4. Like, you know, there's definitely something there, but we definitely sort of are seeing a bit of a slower rate of improvement at the moment. So that's important to note, you know. And in terms of expectations, like if he was to say, and also by the way, he hasn't competed as well in Smash since 2020.
Right.
So he's sort of been a not really competitive gamer for the last 4 years or so, focused on his YouTube and stuff. And we know that, you know, you get rust, and, you know, it's especially a game.
And I wouldn't really say that's a pretty impressive gaming background.
No, I agree.
Not at all. You don't have any experience on a PC game at a high level.
It makes a massive
You haven't really
difference.
played, I'm assuming, other MOBAs, like, you know, from what other people have said. And in that game, Super Smash is like a 1v1 game. So you're totally in control as well. You haven't really played one of those team-oriented games.
The one thing I will say about the Smash background, which might have actually influenced him so far, is players in fighting games, they specialize in a character.
Yeah, they're a bunch.
So this is why it might be why he's playing only a couple of characters, is because, if you're a pro Smash player, you're like a Mario player or a Kirby player or a Foxtrot player or something like that. So I think that might be helping him. At least he understands champion mastery.
And attention to detail.
Yeah.
Right. That game is incredibly, it's all about attention to detail.
100%,
Micro anticipation. So I think there is actually, funnily enough, we'll probably have to do a whole nother conversation about this, but I actually think there's a lot of overlap between Super Smash, like those sorts of fighting games, in terms of the mindset of like getting into the details, anticipation, because
ability usage. Yeah.
It is attention to detail from an ability usage perspective. Obviously, like the console you're using, right? You're not using a keyboard and a mouse, but the mindset about like breaking down interaction, so how kits interact, and understanding, oh, they do that, I do that. Like I got to anticipate that ability. You know what I mean? And even to go even further, like they have the whole footsies thing, which is the spacing and tethering equivalent in that game. So yeah, there is actually, funnily enough, even though he got Diamond, that definitely, talking through, it would definitely play a part.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be expecting him to be flying up to like Emerald
Iron to
or
Platinum
Diamond.
is again, let's just quickly talk about this. We haven't really mentioned it yet. Iron to Platinum as an expectation in
3 months.
In 3 months is
bonkers.
Basically not doable for the average player, right? Because you got to learn what all the champions do first. You're not even improving at the game, right? You just got to understand what League of Legends is.
Getting a feel for it.
And then you got to learn the role. Then you got to learn your champion. You got to learn all of that. And you know, that's
jungle as well.
Jungle is like a whole different beast. Like that's a insanely hard task to do. Like insanely hard.
If he went to Iron to Platinum as a jungler, never really having played a lane, that would be insanity.
Yeah, it'd be insanity.
How do you, because a lot of jungling is knowing how lanes work. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into it, I guess, but it's very, very difficult.
All right, so what we're going to do now, let's get a sort of a big picture of sort of his mindset towards the game. So we're going to go over 3 clips of the way he talks about the game and his journey so far. All right, first clip here. Let's give it a listen.
My account has some history. So when I got my initial rank, I started very low, Iron 3. And I've worked through Iron, through Bronze. I only have a few games between me and Silver. And I know Plat is far from Bronze. But here's the dream. And maybe I'm stupid. But I think if I hit gold, the promised land, my teammates will finally understand. Because right now, when I lose, it's not necessarily me playing bad. Now, bear in mind, you can look. Some games I do play bad. But sometimes I don't, and I still lose. But I think it's because I'm playing with a bunch of troglodytes. And I think things will get better in gold. They'll get better. People will ping correctly. They'll play safe in lane. They won't die twice in the first 2 minutes of the game. They'll be good. And we'll hit platinum. We'll hit plat.
Every gold player gets one.
It'll happen. Dude, it can happen. It can happen to us. Your teammates are bad? That's what I'm saying, Rare Halo. It's not me. It's them.
Did he put the music over there? Is he being comedic about this?
Yeah, I can't tell if it's
Well,
comedic or not.
it's serious
It's
as
rooted
well
in
as
truth.
entertainment, right?
That's really good.
He's funny.
entertainment.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's a
Good
great
character.
entertainer.
The delivery is great on that stuff.
So obviously this is a common narrative, right? And this is a thought that everyone, maybe you could say, myself and you, Curtis, maybe not.
I think if you play League of Legends, it crosses your mind.
The promised land, right? It's going to get better.
It's going to get. I would say that the whole. One of the biggest challenges of League, and we've all been there, right? Is that you have this game where you play well, and your teammates objectively do things that are questionable, and you lose a game that was easily winnable, right? And so this is what we got to remind ourselves, and we all fall in this trap that we're actually playing poker, right? That's what League is League's closest
What's
comparison
closer to that than it is Smash Bros. Melee?
It's closer to
That's
poker than
fully
it
in
is
your control. Yeah, the
exactly.
1v1.
That is the hardest part about League. That the toughest pill to swallow is that not every game is in your control. And yes, you can influence a hell of a lot, but there are games that are just going to be unwinnable. And you can only play your hand.
We're playing the hand, the odds over a long amount of hands. Because it's so easy, especially, the harder thing with poker and League is that the game of a League game goes for 30 minutes, but poker hands go, in a couple of minutes.
Yep.
So that's why this is inevitable to have this mindset. Now, in terms of improvement, this mindset is not healthy at all. You need to be lazy, as hard as it is. You need to be really focused on how can you optimize what I could be doing. What is my impact in the game actually look like?
I want to kind of just riff on one thing very quickly here, because that whole sentence of once I get to this rank, the players are going to be better, and then these problems, I won't have these problems anymore, right? You see that daily in our communities. You see it everywhere, right? I can understand where they're coming from, right? Because if you think about it logically, you're thinking, well, if I get higher, players are going to get better. So surely these sorts of, in my mind, basic errors are not going to get made. The misconception, why this will always be apparent, why you will always feel this way, no matter, it doesn't even matter if you're in Master Tier, it doesn't matter if you're in Gold, it doesn't matter if you're in Emerald, Grandmaster, right? Is because the game, it's all relative. It's all relative. And so when it's two goal players versus each other, their mental stacks are so overwhelmed that anyone can make a basic mistake. Everyone is only making basic mistakes. Every mistake there is no such thing as a complex mistake. Everything is a basic mistake because of the mental stack toll. So everything will always look basic. So it's not like you've got now a gold player versus silver player. It's a gold versus gold. And then it's a plat versus plat and an emerald versus an emerald. So your mental stack is always jacked up and overwhelmed, so you're going to look like an idiot, and people will look like an idiot no matter where they're at in your journey.
Well, it's also like the grass is always greener, right? Everyone thinks like all the way up until Challenger that, we just need to get there and then the game's going to be good. But it goes further. Like even on our server, people say like, it's Oath Challenger. Like it's just like go to NA, that's the next step. Go to Korea, that's the next step. And then China, and then scrims, and then like it's never ending. It's never ending. You're never going to be satisfied. There is no promised land. That is the secret.
There is no promised land.
And this is as well built in. It's the nature of the snowball aspect of League and the game. When you lose in League, you can lose badly, hard. You get really weak. You can have that 0-4 score, 0-5 score. So people think that for some reason that when when you're playing like high level league or like in challenger lobbies or whatever, no one's going like 0-3 or 0-4. Everyone's like clawing, everyone's like the same CS. You know, like I'm a jungler. I can literally make someone be down 40-50 farm if I'm playing perfectly, ganking their waves, making them just absolutely into playing win conditions. And that person in that master tier game or whatever is going to be like, wow, my Swain sucks. But it's like, well, no, he's playing as a jungler. I'm deciding to prefer that to be my win condition, right? So it's built into the game. It's the nature of the game. This is a really important thing to
But
understand.
I empathize with him. Like I can understand, and the vibe I get that was kind of comedic. I don't really take that. I wouldn't take that too seriously.
Well, you have to put it in the context. Like, if he's like holding himself to a really high standard with his level of play, and then he says stuff like that, then it's funny. But we'll see what actually happens.
Let's move on to the other clip.
God, I hate this game so much. I really don't enjoy this game. I think at this game's best, I feel fine, like I feel empty inside, and at its worst, I feel like ending my entire life. I think this game's genuinely horrible. So I want to do this plat challenge for the sole purpose of I don't ever want to play this game again. I hate every person who I play with on my team and every person I play against. I think every character's bullshit. The enjoyment from this game purely comes from the avoidance of losing LP. Holy it's horrible. Every person who plays this game has a degenerative disease in their brain. They're generally formed worse than the average person. I don't get it.
Holy moly.
Sorry, I'm good. That's a long way to say I'm bad. Look, here's the thing. I agree with you. I am bad. But I'd be more embarrassed to dedicate my life to being good. Unless you're a pro, then it's fine. Oh my god, that was miserable. Dude, that's so hard. It's so hard. This game kills me, man. This kills me.
There's so much there. It's so funny.
There's a lot to break down there. So let's start off at the beginning. So obviously, if you're not enjoying the game or you're miserable experience, if he's doing this challenge purely for the fact that he doesn't have to play the game again, you're setting yourself up for failure. Okay, it's not going to be good. Like now, this is our philosophy, Curtis, and what we is like, you've got to really enjoy the process. And the moment you attach yourself to results, LP, wins and losses, league is it will destroy you. It's miserable. This is inevitable.
It is. The game is objectively shit if you don't treat it with respect and you don't play it with a particular mindset. It actually is a complete, not only a waste of time, league will actually be a detriment in your life if you don't have the right relationship with improvement and actually like knowing how to improve at League of Legends.
How the game works and respecting the beauty of the game. Yeah. League is a beautiful game if you really take comfort in the poker sort of analogy, yes. Understanding that you have a lot of control of the game, review your mistakes.
It's so hard to approach it that way. Like the most telling thing he said there was when he said, it's like he doesn't respect anyone who takes the game seriously unless you're a pro player. It's like he can't conceptualize the idea of someone approaching this game as a meaningful hobby, putting in like high quality inputs, playing with intensity, setting learning objectives, having a good time, like just viewing it as a vessel for learning, and then getting like positive outputs from that. He doesn't even view that as a possibility.
Okay, so this is I believe one of the root causes as to this feeling, right? Yeah. In League, the game is incredibly complicated. It's so complex and so deep. So what happens when you see an event, right? Say especially when you're in the lower elo, right? You're in bronze. Everything looks random. In your mind, because you don't have the understanding of what the game actually is, everything seems random. So there is no other game like this. Like I mean, maybe outside Dota or like other MOBAs. If you think of any other game, Counter-Strike, you think of other FPSs, you think of fighting games.
Yeah, I mean, FPS is simple. It's either I shoot and kill and get killed or kill them, right?
Exactly. Nothing. But even if something's like, oh, how the hell did that hit me? Like you could look at it, be like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. Or they're just cheating. It's like, oh, one or the other, right? Right? Basically, it's pretty black and white, isn't it? And so you don't need to have this super sophisticated understanding of that game to really understand why something happened. But in League, you can know the game and you still, right? You might play the game for 2 years and still have no clue why particular events actually happened the way they did. That's how deep League of Legends is. And so what happens from the average player, again, let's just call him the average player in bronze or silver, right? the game will destroy you, because if you're just going around thinking that every event is random, then of course it's going to be a miserable experience. But if you don't have the mindset of being like, you know what, there probably is a reason why that particular event happened. Being curious. If you don't have that, again, we sound like, there's our buzzword of the century here in the BBC podcast, but it really is true. If you're not genuinely curious about, okay, I wonder why my bot lane died to that gank. I wonder why we lost that 2v2. I wonder if we could have actually maybe...
It's because it's hard, Curtis. What you're describing is so hard. It's so much easier to just say it's random, or it's easier to say, I just need to get to gold, then it'll be easy. Or like look at the surface level stuffs, like teammates' death column. Like that's so much easier.
But this is the thing. I kind of feel like this part of the journey that you're going through in League is kind of inevitable. Like I don't know if there is even is it even possible to
unless you have influences in your life that are literally introducing you to the game through positive ideas and giving you those influences from the start. Everyone's journey starts.
My
journey started like this.
Everyone's journey is probably going to be like this, right?
Well, this is where I think that League is in its stone ages, because we say that Riot does such a bad job of getting people to understand the ranked experience. This is what we hope to do with this podcast and our work with our academies and stuff. Is if we can get the entire League community to understand, everything that Ludwig here is saying. Again, this is the thoughts of every single person, everyone's journey. If we can understand that, break it down exactly how we're doing here, why this is happening, let's start breaking down the gameplay. Then I think that I hope that this doesn't have to be the normal experience.
It's so rough because the tutorial tells you what Ash's ult does. It doesn't tell you that you can play well and still lose. Imagine how crazy. Because I understand from Riot's perspective too, though, because
they don't want
to turn people away. Imagine if you install the game and the first thing you hear is the
hardest game in the world.
You can die 0 times and your team can die 10 times and you will lose, and that's that. And
this is why this podcast it's a small niche podcast. Because when we talk about this and they hear and people join our academies, it's brutal, it's hard, it's self-reflection, it's get into the details, as my water bottle there says in my t-shirt here. So it's not, and people don't want to hear it, right?
It's like a solo queue contract, the classic. It's like you have to sign all these agreements, take accountability, focus on yourself, don't even look at the LP.
But again, from Riot's perspective, you're right, they wouldn't want to market the game as that, because it's going to turn everyone away from it. It wouldn't be that casual game. And realistically, we've said this many times, the ranked experience, if you're trying to improve, it needs to come with warning, all these things. This is going to happen. You got to, you know what I mean? All of these things need to be understood.
And if let's say if you go to a tennis class or a martial arts class, that's sort of the expectation. You're gonna have to sort of sweat. You might get hurt a little bit. Yeah, that needs to be what it is for.
It's like someone coming in doing jiu-jitsu for the first time, getting their ass kicked, and then complaining, "What the hell? I didn't know you could do that."
This sport
that's unfair.
Sucks. It's
this
broken.
Sport sucks. But this guy's just got 5,000 hours.
You respect the other guy who's got 5,000 hours.
Yes,
there, and that's the whole difference. Is exactly that there's no respect happening in these games.
No. Well, he literally said everyone that he plays with, he just hates.
Well, he also said he purposefully disrespects anyone who tries hard.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
Yeah.
Take it with a grain of salt. It's funny.
It's comedic. You don't know what you
I love when he's low in the chair, though. Him and Tyler One both just so low in the chair. This game's so hard. That's true.
Yeah,
a truer statement has never been said. This game is hard.
All right, ready for the next one?
Let's jump in.
I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games away from silver. And I started today 4 games away. We're not reaching silver today. I hate this game, bro. I did nothing. I played for 4 hours and nothing happened. I lost progress. It's unbelievable. Oh my God, this game, man. This game, it kills me. I mean, we won that game off the Shen. God, I have a 50% win rate now. Man, I used to be somebody.
So, progress, Curtis. This is where people really struggle. They think that, improvement and League is all I get on, I feel like I'm improving. Maybe he feels like he's improving. That's why he's frustrated, why the results aren't showing in his OPG, his rank. But you can't, League is not linear. It's not just I learn new thing and then I progress here, go progress. It's like 1 step backward, 2 steps forwards. It could be 3 step backwards, 4 step. It could be 5 step. It could be 8 step backwards and then 4 steps forwards and then another 3. It's a mess. You never know. And this is why one of the most toxic things. What is talking about here is one of the most toxic things you can ever do in League is you count how many wins away you are from the rank that you want to get. There is nothing there getting into the details or getting specific. It's just purely results focused.
Well, we haven't even said
game.
this, but like obviously the underlying problem so far in all these clips is that he's focusing on the LP.
Yep.
Like obviously that goes without saying that is the root cause so far, is that he's not even thinking about anything that happened in the game, as we've seen.
Yeah, and realistically, if you wanted to complete this challenge, right, if you wanted to get to platinum in one split, you would do it in a way where it's like, okay, I'm not going to look at my rank. Yeah. I'm actually just going to go full on. I'm going to just become the best player I can possibly become in these 3 months. But obviously, that's not going to be entertainment value, right? Like he wants to, there is an element of entertainment. True. He's doing this on stream, and it's a big challenge, big event, right? Whatever. So I understand that, but that is gonna massively hurt his progress. If you're ever counting your wins and losses, you're thinking, I'm this amount of games to that rank, or I'm this amount. I'm down this amount of LP today. You're just screwed. You're just never gonna get anywhere. And realistically, the quality of your statements need to be saying things like, okay, well, cool. We can objectively say, all right, I didn't have a great day in terms of win-loss ratio, but I got these away from the games. I learned a lot about my limits as a Amumu. I got better at panning my camera to side lanes. I got way better at getting my raptors on spawn. Whatever the hell it is. It's like I've actively improved these things. And this is, again, the metaphor just very quickly that I use to help, maybe expand on what you just said, Nathan. Why you can improve its particular things but don't get better at the game is imagine an electrical circuit. So imagine you have like 4 wires, right? And then all it takes, like in science class or in high school, all it takes is from one of the wires to be missing for the electrical circuit to not go through. So you have light bulbs at each like corner or whatever it might be. 1 wire's gone. So even though 3 wires are there and they're all functioning, everything's working, just 1 wire missing, the circuit won't go through. That's how League of Legends is. It's multiple concepts tied together that create results in League of Legends. You can be the best jungler who you have the best ganks. But if you don't know how to like reset, or you don't understand you don't know how to fight, you don't know how to sequence your camps properly or whatever, one of those things are missing, boom, you lose the game. You can have many other things you're doing well. Just one thing.
He does have many things he's doing well, honestly. And we'll get into this in the VODs. But as you're saying, there are a lot of like gaps in the fairy lights in his gameplay. Yeah. And which again, when you focus on the LP, it's just impossible to see the gaps. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what your focus is. Where is the gap happening? Where am I falling apart?
And it's that curiosity again. Coming back to that, like if you don't lift open the hood and have a look at where the wires are even connected, you're never going to find out. Yeah. He's literally looking at like the surface, which is
and this is, I wouldn't say never, but it takes a long time.
Well, he'll just do it. He'll learn intuitively for trial and error. Just by he'll just. Yeah, just over time, reps.
Right. Repetitions will solve problems, but it's an incredibly miserable
painful, slow and painful,
inefficient way to climb.
And probably is impossible if he wants to get to plat, because the sheer amount of games it will take is just too many. And you can tell by the way he's speaking. I don't know if he has it in him to play that many games. It might take 1,000 games.
Yes.
It might take 1,000 games.
He could never get there.
It's like Tyler 1, who he's racing against. He got to Challenger, right? Doing the similar thing that Ludwig is doing, where he's just kind of like ramming his head against it. Maybe he did some reviews, but he has a very disciplined.
Well, but Tyler One's also played thousands and thousands of games.
That's what I'm saying. It took him 20,000 games when he got to like challenge.
He did it in the least efficient way possible.
Of course, but not everyone can do that. He's like the 1% of people that can stick it out for that long.
He's the one who has the mental fortitude to do that. Yeah.
And Ludwig's not playing that much, and so basically the approach that Ludwig is taking here is again, I throw enough shit at a wall, eventually something's going to stick. Yeah. And this is what happens when you don't get specific. Go look at your gameplay. Don't review at all.
All right, moving on.
So now what we're going to do here is we're going to go into a sort of a bit of a montage that I put together of what sort of his mindset is and what is sort of a pattern of behavior that I've seen after each game that he plays. So let's take a look at that now.
A+ bronze 1. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 4 games away. Your team started as bots and then found their way. Yeah, we did good. I had the second most damage in the lobby, which is kind of crazy. Our team was quite evenly stacked. But by damage, I was just second to the Vigar. For damage taken, I should be maybe second to Set. Yeah. The Lilia took a lot. Wow. Self-mitigated. On top. My runes, I healed 873 from Conquerors. In Triumph, healed a fuck ton. So that seems good. Last Stand. I think the Last Stand is the reason I killed the Ashe at the end. But maybe that's wrong. And then income, we were second in the lobby, which is nice. And then vision score was fine. Could have been better. I feel like I had a lot of shit going on. Conqueror isn't for healing. Yes, for damage, right? Either way, chat, that was a good game. And of course, we always check op.gg. I think they would put us first overall. I think they would. They did. Yes, sir, MVP. Late bloomer. Demonstrated increasingly better performance over time. Yeah, I did start that game quite rough. I made a couple of boneheaded bad ganks. If we look at the my performance versus the Lilia's, like the Lilia was dominating me at times. And then only towards the end did she kind of int. She just got caught alone a lot. You fucking ran it at the beginning? Yeah, I ran it down. I was boneheaded. But it's all right. We bounced back. We bounced back. They have silver 4 on their team. That set is silver 2. That's crazy. The fact that the set is silver 2 in the Veigar is iron 1 shows you how broken this game is. That set was not silver 2. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I just want to say something. That was such a wholesome interaction. I've never seen what the average players interactions with stats after the game is like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's actually having a crack.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
he's trying to break it down.
It's kind of adorable, you know what I mean?
No,
it's
you know, it's just it feels
it's
bad.
so adorable. It's kind of like looking at a toddler in the sandpit and oh, that's cool. They have no idea. But they're having a crack.
It's like say Last Stand is.
What's the outcomes? How does he use that information in his next game?
I don't know. It's just so wholesome, man. I don't know. It's just it reminds me of what the average Legend player is going to do. I'm just they got home from work, they're going to jump on the PC, they're going to play this game, and then they're going to spend all this time looking at runes and the OPG. Yeah, I'm a late bloomer in this game.
I guess it's there to look at, right? They're right to put those stats there for you to look at them.
It's so funny. It's hilarious. I've just never seen that interaction before. It's so wholesome, you know?
Yeah, this is what most players probably are doing.
Yeah.
We don't realize.
We don't realize.
It's really eye-opening, isn't it?
It's eye-opening. I don't think I've ever done that process.
No.
So why we're sort of people, let's say if you're a new player watching this, okay, people will say, what's the problem with this?
Yeah.
Now, this is exactly what you don't want to be doing because, so stats in League, how do we talk about stats in League? I guess the way that I think about stats, because so for people that the way that we've all improved the game, it's never looking at stats, right? It's purely, I guess maybe there's some element.
Yes.
It'd be like
I'll look at deaths and CS.
Well,
and that's
stats
probably
is
the
an
end of
umbrella
it.
term, Nathan, right? What are we talking about here, right? Because stats can be anything from your kills, your deaths, the basics, right? KDA and CS.
well, let's say for example, he looked a lot at damage done and damage taken.
No, but okay, I've got an interesting point about stats, right? So the way I like to view stats is that, and this is when I coach pro as well, stats are the starting point of a discussion. You bring a stat to the table and you say, okay, this could mean something. Let's now go have a look. So this is why CS and deaths are good stats as well, but you still can't end the conversation on a stat. It's if someone has 5 CS per minute or 6 CS per minute, you then take that stat and then go apply it to their games, and then you find out why that's the case.
Yep.
Same with the death. Same with the deaths. If someone's averaging you can see someone's averaging 1 death a game, that could also be a problem.
It's a sign. Exactly right.
It's literally just an indicator that there could be something going on in the game. But the stats he's looking at are also just useless stats in terms of even as indicators. How much damage Last Stand is doing, who cares?
Well, it's objectively that could be information, but it's so minuscule.
It's noise.
It's
actually just noise.
Genuinely noise. At that rank is just genuinely noise, right? But I think you raise an important point. You can use the big ones. Okay, I've got 5 CS per minute this game, and then this game I had 8 CS a minute. Yeah. What happened in this game that I got 5, and then this is what I had 8? And then you could get into the VOD and be like, oh yeah, I skipped all these camps here or whatever, and you can break that down. It's like you said, it's a starting point. Alternatively, things like deaths. It's well, this game I died 7 times. What the hell happened there? Again, that's a red flag. Boom, get into the details and see what the hell went wrong. So I couldn't agree more, but there's probably in this ELO bracket, how many stats would you actually use? CS, deaths, that's it.
I guess the something like the length of the game. If your games are constantly going to 40 minutes, I guess that might be.
But you probably wouldn't even have the ability to break that down, right? So literally deaths and CS, that would be the only ones that you would look at.
Points, yeah. The mindset you really gotta get across and think about League is that stats is purely really at the end of the game. This might sound obvious, but it's a byproduct of all the little tiny decisions that you're doing. So what you need to be doing is looking at these tiny decisions, and then we these are the big 20%, as we like to say. fix those, and then the stats sort of magically all just sort of happen nicely sort of after.
Yeah, and the reason stats are quite complicated is because stats are relative to a particular game state. So, for example, you could go, like, I had this conversation with the client this week. He brought in a VOD, and he was concerned that he wasn't impactful as Oriana. He's playing Oriana and Swakali. And his scoreline by, like, I think it was like 15 minutes was 0-1-0. And I said to him, I said, look, realistically, you played this game well. Let's say you played it well, even better. Your scoreline would have been 0-0-0. I said, you would have been great. Your scoreline in this game would have had no, like, there's no concern here. You actually would have, if I'm playing that game, probably would have been 0-0-0 by 15 minutes. Great. But in another game, right, where you're getting all this jungle attention, you're in a better quality matchup, maybe your supports of roam mid, whatever, being 0-0-0 would actually potentially be a red flag. Yeah. So stats, without the context of the game state and how the game panned out, actually has little to no bearing over, the quality of the game, the quality of your decisions.
Yeah. It's definitely a trap that players can go down with, and the worst thing I see about stats is like people will also as well, he looked at the stats for his teammates or like his rank. Like,
no, but Riot gaslights you though, right?
This rabbit hole.
Think about it, Riot gaslights you. Think about the two things that they come in your face. You press accept, the game's done. Loss of LP, stats, garbage and garbage. Like nothing. It should, like, if we're really talking about what it should be, is play again or exit.
Or the VOD.
Or the VOD.
How cool would that be if the POV VOD popped up?
Or your death comes up.
Your first death.
First death.
That'd be so good.
That would be
Okay,
okay.
Ryan, put that in the game. That's excellent.
Yeah.
That boom, your first death comes up, replay your first deaths. And then it goes one after
Love
the
it.
other or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I mean, the other part of what we've just seen is that obviously he's talking about his teammates' rank after the game ends, and he's trying to like deduce whether they should be at the rank they are.
Yeah. Stats, I guess what they're doing is trying to create a story around the game that is so distorted from actually like the reality in terms of if you actually want to take away things that are actually going to help you improve, that's whatever the story you're going to come up with is just going to be incorrect because you're not even objective even after a game anyway. And that's win or loss. Yeah. What we're going to also notice as well in these clips that we're going to get through is like watch how sort of like happy he is in the way he talks about the game after a win, and then we'll see as a loss, sort of the way he's looking at the game.
Look at the quality of the win as well. I don't even think this game was like a very high quality win. He's 8-4-11. I guess that's 8-7. Sorry, 8-7-11. So he's died 7 times, and he's very happy.
And this is something we're really big on the podcast, Charles. Like this whole spiking of emotions. You're over the moon when you win. Oh my god, yes, I won this game. Fuck yeah, I love this game. Blah blah. And then you go from, fuck, I'm so miserable. I hate this game. Oh my god, why do I play my teammate? You go from one extreme to the other, and you have that spike in emotion. It's so unsustainable. That
just comes from not understanding why you win and lose.
Yeah,
right. I mean, because all he has to look at is the win and the loss. If you don't understand the why.
So I think we continue on.
All right, so let's
get into some clips.
Next clip here. This is again after another win.
Wow. That was so easy. That felt like I was smurfing. Man, who do I want? The Diana played amazing, and the Fiora played amazing. I think they both got solo kills in lane. That was free. That's man. S+. It's easy to be S+ when everyone on their team is playing at a F-. Okay. I think MVP that game is probably Diana, because she didn't die. Yeah, I think you probably give it to Diana. I think I'm second. I think Fiora's third. But by damage given, Fiora was highest, Diana second. Damage taken, I was second highest. Fiora was highest. Maybe Fiora was first. Self-mitigated. Income, Diana had the most. Vision score. Look at the vision score, Ludwig. Nice. 6 kills. Yeah, 6, 1, and 4 is nice. All right, moment of truth. I think I got second there, I want to say. They'll give me a second. Yeah. Second to... Okay, OP.GG does not know what they're talking about. Oh, no, sorry, they switched. I thought that was Tristana. Yeah, they gave me second to Diana. I think that's fair. I think that Diana played a perfect game. I think if I hadn't tower dove and died, I might have gotten it. That was great, man. Are you going to stream PvP Civilization? Probably at some point, yeah. That was great. That was great, man. That was a good fucking game. I'm pretty sure their Fizz went AFK, though. I don't think it would have changed anything except how long the game lasted, but I do think their Fizz was AFK. Because the Diana's just pinging question marks mid.
Wait, look,
So
he thinks it's a free win, but he's still so happy with himself.
Yeah, both your solo lane is solo kill.
And he won a 5v4.
And
he's
you
like,
want to
yeah!
So that's just a classic example of just like a 30% win, right? You just
Yeah.
get these auto wins. You're gonna get them, and you just shouldn't overemphasize them. You just take the win, take the learning, move on.
You can't be describing those games as like a
good game.
Okay,
Weird,
because
yeah.
what he's really saying there, it's a good game because it was quick and I gained LP.
It's just that's just that's when you get into the addiction gambling mindset.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it next game I get my two. If I hope my solo lane is solo kill, and it's like yes, oh my god, they solo kill. Yeah, I've got a good game. It's like you're looking for. Like it's like you're gambling. You're straight up
Dude, it makes
gambling.
perfect sense. If you think about why he's playing to get the rank then quit, then yes. If he's trying to do it in the least amount of time with the least effort, then a
He
game
wants to
like
get
that
lucky.
is what he wants.
Yeah, true.
So like my nan could win that game. As I was saying, Nathan, like come on, like
Yeah.
there are some games where you just sit there and like
Yeah.
zone out and still win the game.
Yep. Okay. I think we continue. I think there's stuff to touch on there, but we come back, I reckon.
All right, so again, we've just seen two sort of happy post games here.
Yep.
And again, we're seeing that the pattern of what he does. He looks at
yeah.
the specific stats.
Yep.
Then he will go to the OPGG. He looks at people's ranks. He looks at
The scores and shit.
I think as you said, it's really wholesome.
Yeah.
To sort of see. He tries to figure out who should have got MVP. Like it's like a big event. It's
a big event.
By the way, that OPGG MVP and like tagging you with like leader or whatever it says, like comeback. Like that's one of the most negative things I've added to that website.
And when you make each game a big event, this is where the big spike is going to be coming from versus saying, okay, let's get the game. I got my learnings, win or loss, couldn't care less, next game. Couldn't care less, next game. That's how you actually improve rapidly at League of Legends. But if we have this 5-minute conversation breakdown, create a story of each game.
It's exactly like poker.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to be super level headed. It's like
Yeah.
win or loss, unlucky or lucky. It's the same thing. You got to be coherent. You got to just be like, yep, okay, this one here, this is what happened. Okay, I could have played that hand better. I misplayed that hand. Okay, next one. It's like you literally got to be in this particular state of mind where there's very limited fluctuation. Now, yes, you give yourself a pat on the back. I played that hand well. Okay, I didn't play that one well. But it's not like you're pissed off at yourself, kind of. It's more like, okay, that happened. That was a misplay. Well, I did this particular thing well, move on. And you kind of in a way you just got to dampen the emotions a little bit.
Exactly, because we've said this before on the podcast, but like if you have high highs, you will automatically have low lows. So the high highs are actually like a gateway drug to the low lows.
Yeah.
Because if you're celebrating and like Nathan said, like yes, I got MVP, then when you don't get MVP and when you lose or when you think it's like misgiven or whatever, yeah, you're going to be equally or actually more so angry than you were happy because that's just how emotions work.
All right, now the next clip we're going to see here is when he is not getting the
Okay, so
result
this
that
one he has a
wants.
1 in 13 Quinn, right?
Yes, he has a 1 in 13.
We're actually
Queen.
going to look at this VOD later.
Yes,
Okay.
we will.
Oh, nice.
1 in 13, like genuinely, I think you should quit. Gotta get my CS up.
The stats, yeah.
That's
Jesus Christ. All right. Let's give an honor to Quinn because I don't think he's gotten one in years. And let's give an honor to Echo. Actually, I think Echo played quite well.
That's great.
Here's a fuck thing. Why am I losing more LP than I'm gaining when I win? What the fuck is that? I played pretty fucking well. Don't tax me an extra 2. I did the most damage on the team. I did the most. I assume I have most damage taken as well. Yes. Close to Ambesses. Self-mitigated. Yes. Income. Number 2. Dude, our top got 6,000 gold. There was a 10,000 gold differential. The differential of gold was almost equivalent to how much gold I had. Vision score, killed it. We played great. I feel no ill will towards myself. 68% kill participation, 6.6 CS per minute. Like, I actually think I played really well. I wouldn't change much about what I had done. I'm sure there were some things I could have done here and there. There were some engages. I should have just maybe left top earlier.
We're going to
I'm
review
cool
this
with
game,
that.
by the way. Just,
We were the best player on our team. We rated 5.3. They put us as the best player on our team. Yeah, there's not much you can do there. There's not much you can do there. A 1.2. That's an all-time score. From minute 2.
So I got to pause it and talk about this because I just love that line he's just said, right? Which is, there's not much you can do there. Let's go back to your jiu-jitsu analogy, Curtis. or karate or any sort of skill which is like established. Imagine coming in, playing 100 games, the equivalent of 100 games of this new endeavor you've taken up, losing, and then saying that you played perfectly and there's nothing you could have done differently. You would get laughed out the room, right? But it's just like, why do people come to the game and feel like they have the right to say that they couldn't have done anything differently? What are they basing that off?
The stats.
It's the stats, yeah.
Purely the stats.
In
Because
his case, it says
OPGG
he's the
is
best
telling him he's
performing
the
player.
ace. He's looking at the bar graphs, and he's the top of the bar graph, so he thinks that...
Look, we can draw the conclusion from this montage, right? That in his mind, as long as on paper he is performing well comparatively to his teammates, stat-wise, in terms of damage taken, gold income, whatever the hell those stats are, in his mind, he's okay. He's doing the right thing, right? That's it seems to him that's the metrics that he's kind of using that to kind of self-calibrate.
Exactly right, yes.
But if his standard is the people at the rank he's at, and that's the level he's looking for, then that's the perfect recipe to stay at the
exactly.
rank you're at.
If you're thinking very logically, exactly right.
Yes.
If you're playing at the same level, if you're playing if you're just performing just average in these games that means you are at the rank you deserve
And you
to
will
be.
stay there, and
you
that's
will
great.
stay there. Exactly
Wait,
right.
but hold on. But he's not performing average in his mind. He's performing the best on his team. So you should be
Right.
Sometimes, Nathan. But he's not performing the best on his team every game.
Okay.
Because he's not getting OPGG ace every game.
I guess it's like his mindset is if he performed the way he did this game, he will be improving.
That's what he's trying to say. By I can't do
the
anything
story he's trying
differently.
to create.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I think we continue on. It's hard to comment without the gameplay, right? So we'll continue on.
Yeah.
The second minute of the game, they fell behind. Yeah, we were crushing. We were crushing right up until minute 12. We even had some nice plays. That was tough. That was very tough. Check Ambessa's match history. Oh, yeah, that's smart, actually. Check Ambessa's match history.
That's smart.
That's smart. So basically, I want to see on the other teams, like, who is this investor that carried the game, right?
Nerdy Asian. They peaked gold 2 last season. Here's a crazy thing. The very last game, they went 1-10. So I actually don't think they're that good. Like they are, sorry. They're quite a decent player. The issue isn't how good they are, it's how bad our top lane was.
The narrative's breaking apart.
By the way, that is so... I love that so much. Like, this guy had the best game of his life, right?
Yeah.
He went whatever it was. And then the game before that, he went
was
1
the 1 and 10 guy.
Awesome. So he was about to build up this narrative. Look how good this guy is. And wait, he went 1 and 10. That doesn't make sense. But that is every player.
Yeah.
That is every player.
I'm the one
He
ruining
doesn't
games.
get it. He doesn't get
He's not
how
getting
the-
it.
No.
Like the evidence is in your face.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, but you don't, if you don't have the proper lens,
No.
you're not going to be able to kind of intake that information properly. Like, it's like, it's like you have to have like, there's like a paradigm shift that needs to happen with league players, right? It's like, you need to realize that sometimes just because you have a bad game doesn't mean you're a bad player. Just because you have a pop-off game doesn't mean you're an amazing player.
That's the key one.
Yeah, they're both.
Yeah. People weigh those differently.
Yeah.
They think that, okay, if I have the amazing game, like I'm capable of doing this every game.
Because-
And if I play the really bad game, that was just like a one-off.
Because, and this is why I know that you always talk about this, Nathan. Like you can just have easy games, and you're gonna have hard games, right? That's the way League of Legends is. And your job in those easy games, yes, you will get those wins, and great, and you make sure you win those games. Those hard games, you make them earn their LP, and then really you can have a lot of those games in the middle where you're just like, average score lines. They're the difference maker. They're the real big difference maker.
Yeah, it's funny. He thinks that like that Ambessa was a massive smurf and the Quinn was really bad.
Yeah.
And then the outcome of that is that scoreline.
And I bet you, does he look at the Quinn's OPGG?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, does he? Okay, let's see.
The fuck? What is this? This is a graveyard.
This is Quinn's match history.
This is my top lane.
So he's 3-12, 20% win rate.
Dude, they're not meant to be a top laner. They're a jungler. Oh my God. What is happening? They were silver 3 last season. They have a 21% win rate. Oh, they don't have that many games. They're 3-12. Oh, Jesus.
That's what I love about this OPG, right? People say, oh, this is what I get on. The reality is that if you're in bronze, right, that is the average account because no one gives a fuck. Not no one. I'm going to retract that statement. There's a lot of people that play the game for fun, not caring about winning or losing in bronze. Why? Because bronze is at the bottom of you're at the bottom of the barrel. There's a lot of people that just literally come home, slam a few beers, have a joint, fucking load up League of Legends, and then first time Quinn and go 0-13.
And
That
look,
is
dude,
what
he's
some people
15-2 on Twitch. This exact player we're talking about. Like
my
that's
point.
the
My
variance.
point is that if you are in iron and you are in bronze, you cannot expect anything of your teammates because you are at the beginning stages of the ranked. Like you know what I mean? Like these are just beginners. People don't care that
either
much.
beginners or they could be people that have been played the game for 10 years. They
just
got
don't give a shit.
gold one time, and then now they can just rock up, be drinking their beers or whatever,
Yeah.
just feed
Duoing,
up and get bronze.
Yeah.
Playing these bronze games and just go.
This
3
guy,
and
this
10.
maybe this is guy. This is how this person has fun. Look, he's gone from what did he play? Vayne, Twitch, Vayne, Jinx, Nunu, Garen, Mordecai. He's playing doing like an
Reshape
A to,
every game.
He's doing an A to Z challenge, right? In a bronze account. That's fine. If that's the way he wants to play his ranked journey, then so be it. The difference is that you are going to face a lot of these players in bronze, but they're on both teams. Therefore, statistically speaking, you are the difference maker.
Yes.
That's the way you mentally reconcile that. It's like, yes, you might lose this game, but that guy's going to be on the enemy team at some stage, and you're going to get that free win, and the auto loss and the auto win will balance itself out.
And the big part of getting to that paradigm shift is not making this big event of every game, creating the story, looking up the OPGGs again. This is everything we do not want to be doing.
Like, you're better
after
off
the
not
games.
knowing.
There's nothing to gain from looking.
Nothing
to gain from looking.
Well, again, what people think there is to gain is like they need to take comfort that they weren't the victim in they were the victim.
Look,
in the
you
game.
can right do this process, but you need a very particular mindset. You need to be very like you can do this and like try to be like, okay, this game, it was always going to be a hard game because XYZ.
But he doesn't have the skill set.
No,
to make
that's
that
what I'm
call.
saying. He doesn't have the skill set. You need to be a very kind of sophisticated player and already a mentally tough player who understands the process to make sense of this. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
All right, so let's get into some gameplay now. First up, we're going to just take a short little clip going back to that Quinn game, and then we'll get into some full gameplay reviews. All right, so here we've got the Quinn top game that we just looked at his reaction to after the game. So we're going to go into a clip here at 15-minute 30 mark. We've got the tab screen open here. Assessing here, so his Quinn is 0-6, 41 CS, and the Mbessa top is 6-0. Ludwig here is 2-2. Got Leandri's got a pretty good farm here, 110 CS by 15 minutes. And the rest of the side of his map is basically just like even. 2-1, 1-2, everyone's basically even. So it's obviously massively weighted on the top side of the map. So let's see how he navigates this situation in this game here. They've got 2 dragons as well, by the way. So this is definitely some win conditions here.
06 is crazy. 06 is genuinely fucking crazy. I mean, this has to be a fucking troll. Why are you... Just stay under tower, please.
The El Clasico.
I feel like something. I haven't seen that sentence since like season 2.
I was backing.
I think
them?
people still say it.
Did people still say that?
Yeah. In lower ranks, I see this a lot.
I do see it as
Really?
well. Yeah,
Wow.
in client-side review, who leave the chat on, I do see this type of stuff. Like, don't die. Like the classic.
They say don't die.
Don't die. Play on the tower.
Yeah.
Play safe. Like someone said in the chat, play safe.
Yeah, right.
So what we're sort of seeing here, and I want you guys to pay attention to the chat, that people watching this on YouTube or now Spotify. There's like this conversation going in the game that is talking about why is this play so bad, instead of figuring out how to win the game.
No, but I want to say another thing. If you're 0-6, you don't have to be trolling top lane. You can easily
that's
go
right.
0-6. If you're playing Quinn into a champ like Quinn,
Think of how high variance Quinn is. Like,
Yeah,
if you
I
fall
know.
behind the pace,
Into
you're
an
going
Mbessa.
to feed.
into an Mbessa 100, easy.
You're a squishy champion with little mobility versus Mbessa, who has a lot of gap close. Yeah, it's rough.
It's
guys.
very,
If you
very.
fall behind,
I wouldn't
it's
say
very
that's
rough.
like unreal. Look, obviously it's not great. I'm sure that Quinn could have minimized some of those deaths.
Of course.
But it's like
It's understandable.
understandable. Like it's not out of the realm of
We
possibility.
know there's certain champs in the game that
Yeah.
when they fall behind, they fall goddamn very
Yes,
far behind.
really,
And
really
Quinn
far
is,
behind.
Quinn
Quinn is
top
one
is
of
one
them.
of them, yes.
All right, so let's see how he plays. He has his information.
Yep.
He knows that the Quin's
He's
really
acknowledged it.
Acknowledged it.
He's typed it out.
Okay.
Everyone on the team's typing
And
this
keep
out.
in mind, he literally just told Quinn to stay under tower.
You weren't. I saw where you died. Bro, you died here.
Sitting on 1,700 gold.
I might die. sucks, bro. This is the most useless fucking player I've ever played with.
How awesome is that?
Okay.
So, that's sort of just like sort of demonstrating again what like the sort of the new player experience, the way you could be talking about the game, looking at people's deaths, not trying to actually problem solve and figure out the game. So I thought this was good to start introducing the gameplay. It's like, let's see what's going on. What's going on? What level are we at?
I think what I want to take a look at take away from that clip is that I wonder how much damage his last stand did there.
Very important. Yeah, love that.
You know what I mean? Like stats. Like sure, he padded his stats there, right? He died. He took a bunch of damage. You know what I mean? Like that's what we mean. Is like, why stats?
You're never going to get to this looking at stats.
Yeah, stats are not going to. Even if you have the best stats in the world and you make this mistake, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, just want to make that very clear.
And the principle here, the curiosity, the thought process will be, okay, well, this is my weakest member. I should probably be avoiding them and avoiding the enemy team's strongest member as well. I should be playing with my strong members. That's sort of the principle that we would get to here. But obviously this conversation sort of, based on his process after the game, wouldn't really think about this much. And
Or maybe he just doesn't know the concept.
Because it is weird, because technically, in a very like new and like childlike way, he has used the lull state to identify who's strong and who's weak, but he doesn't know what to do with that information.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He just genuinely doesn't know, right?
Maybe he's hunting for the shutdown.
Yeah, maybe he thinks that he has to help this 06 Quinn
yeah.
get back into the game.
Yeah.
That's right.
That is a very common
Yeah,
belief,
it is.
actually.
It
I got to
is.
help
Honest,
the behind
that
him.
is so common.
That's really,
So
really common. Yeah.
Actually, I would go as far to say is fixing that one thing in your gameplay actually skyrockets you. Just understanding to like not help people,
let people
who are
die.
06. Let them rot, Nathan Mott,
and go hard on your win
Yeah,
conditions.
exactly.
Double down on
Especially
those.
as a jungler. That is actually a very crucial skill for a jungler, which is probably why jungle's so hard to pick up initially. Like, think about that. He's starting the game.
It's
playing
not really
jungler.
intuitively, is
Not
it?
intuitive.
Not
Not
intuitive.
intuitive. Because you're basically, it's so easy to think that you're like the team medic and you're meant to go around.
I got to
and
help everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And spread it evenly,
Or
But it's actually the exact opposite.
No, and also the other narrative is also they're gonna flame me, they're gonna get angry. I need to
100%.
help them because they're gonna tilt or whatever the hell that narrative is.
Yeah, well, he probably thinks like very surface level. If I don't do something, Ambessa will carry the game.
And the mindset as well you should have if you're seeing someone who's 6-0 on the enemy team is, you know what? Like, okay, sure, they're very strong, but they're not going to play perfect.
No, they're gonna screw
They're
up.
going to give that bounty. I could basically guarantee you.
100%.
If you just play poise and you play with your win cons, that Ambassador will dive in when they shouldn't dive in. They'll do a dumb tower dive. Boom, you get a bounty. The game is just done a 180.
All right, now what we're going to do here is let's review this game from
How do we
start to
get
finish.
here? How did we get
How
here?
did we get here? What could we be doing better? All right, so here we go. We've got Amumu versus Diana here. This is the Quinn top, our friend Quinn top. And we've got a Caitlyn and Pike bot lane and an Echo mid who runs Ghost, interestingly. So, if I'm coaching sort of a silver player here, I don't really go too much into team comps at the beginning. It's a lot of people sometimes see with coaching and stuff is that people break down the win condition assessment 10 minutes. I like to be just very much like, I want to get strong, make sure we're doing good things champ mastery-wise. Q usage, playing around our R cooldown, all that for Amumu, and then and then adapt who's strong and who's weak as the game goes on, more so.
Yeah, we don't adapt our pathing based on the matchups or anything. Like, we recommend like basically a blue start full clear every time, or path top to bot every time.
Yeah, or you could do top to bot every time
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it really simple. But we just want to get a full clear off as Amumu.
Yep.
All right, so here we go. Let's get camp spawning. I always check where the enemy jungler starts. Typically, it's a bot leash in this sort of rank, but let's just look. It could be leashless.
Yeah, less and less. You can kind of tell where the jungler starts these days. Even in these ranks, I do notice a lot more leashes. A lot less leashes.
for a leash?
No, he's actually pinging the Quinn away. He doesn't. He doesn't want to leash.
He wants to start a Raptor
Good.
start. So he's going for the Raptor start clear. This is obviously the very sort of the 8 camp clear, where you do a full clear, crab, then go back to Raptors and Krug. So very sort of greedy, selfish path. Yeah, would I recommend this? I think you can do this if you want. You can also just keep it really simple and just start a buff. And the reasons why sort of starting a buff is fine as well, because there's usually just so many gank windows and it sort of delays your clear a little bit by starting Raptors sometimes.
Well, this locks you in.
Yeah, it
right?
locks you. That's the thing.
That's my mindset
Yeah.
here. Is if you start Raptors, you're basically signing the contract that you're going to be at your Raptors respawn.
That's right, by 355.
Yep.
Which
He's got some good camera panning here,
Yeah,
honestly.
it
He's
really
gathering
has.
information, which is great. His Amumu clear is honestly not bad either. Like, in terms of mechanically, he's pressing his E whenever it comes up. Quite a simple clear, but he's doing it well.
Like, he's really FKing between all of these camps, which is really good.
Yep.
All right, so let's sort of skip through the clear. The enemy bot lane showed, and I didn't really see him best. So let's just pretend that we don't know where the enemy jungler is right now. Or should we should probably look and see if it's got top to bot clear. Let's have a look. I just need to know this. Let's see how when Mbessa comes top. So I'm looking at the minimap top. She shows in lane as well. So this is a leashless from leashless start. All right, so let's skip ahead.
Bot seems very heavy trading.
Lots of heavy training bot. And then this is where the first blood sort of begins. So Quinn dies. Now, in terms of this clear, I would actually recommend he do Gromp, not blue.
Yep.
Because you have a beautiful sequence on your second. You're actually delaying your Gromp spawn.
Pretty small thing, though.
Very small
but
thing,
it's
yeah.
an easy thing to change
Yeah.
that will get your results
Makes
quickly.
sense.
Looks like Diana has just 3 camped ganked bot with a red buff. So important information to just take in. Diana has all of her topside camps are up. All of Diana's topside camps are up. She's level 3.
And this probably most likely because she's leashless, she did Raptors. So her Raptors are going to be spawning at 355, just as the his Raptors are. So she's again 3 camp ganked here.
And
So
it's
we
interesting.
skipped Gromp here, right?
Yep, we're level 3.
Yeah, his natural response is kind of just a run at the fight which is happening. Try and salvage the play. Oof. Pretty rushed Q, I would say. Lands the next one. And this is where the Triumph rune actually comes into play and the last stand rune.
Those
Only joking.
runes.
Yeah, so in all honesty, like this is a really common thing we see, right, Nathan, where when the enemy jungler does a 3 camp gank, people lose their marbles. They don't understand that simply by finishing the full clear and then making a move on the map, that's the best way to punish a 3 camp gank, right? We see this all the time.
Yeah, and obviously it works. So this is sort of the thing that we're going to see. The theme of this review.
Because
here.
you guys are jungle coaches, right?
Yeah.
So I want to know, how do you break down this gank?
It's it's hard because the information he has is like money. I won.
But I look at this from like a gathering information perspective, right? So let's look at the camera painting here for a second. This whole time we're going in blind.
Yeah.
Right. This whole time. Then he sees that. Why are we not panning? I mean, I'm just being a noob here. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about here.
You're good here, yeah.
But like, why? Like when I look at this, I just want to see what's going on here. You know?
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Like, how do you know How do you know this is gankable or not? That's my point.
Well, this is where Charles is saying. Well, what happens again is that the jungler shows see low HP people. We
run there, figure it out. Okay, I see.
Because if we look at the principles of whether this is a good gank or a bad gank, this isn't even a gank. He's basically playing a skirmish in bot lane, right? He's not playing around the wave state. He's not ganking for his laners because his Caitlyn's dead. He's just literally playing cleanup crew.
So would you say this is okay? A reasonable decision from a sort of?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is
You see
great.
low
but
members,
it's sort of again the way that he goes about it, right? As you said about the information collection and stuff like that, and also as well the execution. This is in terms
max
of
range Q.
max range. So the principle in League of Legends that we know is that max range skill shots in vision are easy to dodge.
Yep.
That's a fact.
Yep.
Right.
If you were to think from this exact freeze frame now, the best thing for him to do would be to play very slowly and run on a diagonal down the lane, covering behind them, corral them, and then use your Q melee range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now, and so this is sort of I want to talk a little bit big picture here more so, is that, you know,
Yeah.
we get a triple kill here, and then suddenly you're immediately going to think, wow, this play was awesome, right?
Yeah.
Like it would make sense, but, and what I did was awesome, and like I win the game for my team, but this is why it's important to review your games, because even though this is a triple kill, we could still play this better, right? In terms of, you know, the way we went to this play and also the Q usage. The Q usage is a massive one. So the first thing here, the main principle, I'll be, you know, even setting a learning objective here flat out, is that I want you to go to the extreme even when you're starting to play Amumu of holding your Q. Try and kill people without actually queuing.
Yeah.
See what that feels like.
But now we're in like an incredibly good position. Like,
Correct.
you've
Yes.
borderline done a full clear into like, this is like jungle like
Kingdom. Yeah.
kingdom. Like, yeah, you're so strong now.
Now,
So what's your mindset? What are we doing here? What
So-
are you thinking?
we got 1,500 gold in inventory, and this is where this is sort of the hard part about League, is that the normal play pattern that junglers would have here is to just go, you know, do the crab, and then you know, he sees his Gromp back up. So I think he goes back to his Gromp.
Well, his
here.
Gromp never got cleared, right?
Yeah, never got cleared here. So we're sort of going to see here, but basically the correct move here is that he needs to get back to his Raptors and Krugs ASAP.
And the reason is because if Diana knows that Amumu started Raptors, which she should,
Yep.
Diana will get there first.
Diana could run straight there.
Correct.
Yeah. So what you would even do if you want to do insane tempo and match
You'd
Diana's
insta
play,
reset.
you'd insta reset
And
down.
go straight to Raptors.
Straight to Raptors because she could maybe take these away from you, and this would be perfect because you're matching your death timer
Yeah.
with your recall timer, which is 8 seconds.
And that's
So-
a great fundamental to follow.
Yeah.
And then you're on your second full clip.
I mean, what you could even do if you want to get really aggressive is you could sprint and kill Diana.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
Because
Into a top
Diana,
side.
think
You're
about
super
what
strong.
Diana's going to do. Diana's probably going to go out of base and try and do top crab.
Exactly
Or
right.
even her blue. And if you match the death timer, you can just meet
Okay,
her
so
there.
so my question to you guys. So we've spoken about like what are some options here, but
Yeah.
let's say for a silver Amumu,
Yep.
what would you expect? Like, what do you teach here from a, like, what would you expect from a?
So you're probably
silver Amumu?
so this is a bit tricky because you're probably not going to get counter jungled in silver, right? Diana's not going to know to go punish the Raptors. To be honest, what he could also do as well, another option we didn't talk about was he could go take the crab into her Raptors, then recall and go clear top to bot because you're not going to get counter jungled. I would just sort of just keep it simple here and just sort of just tell him just do crab. I probably would want them to take Raptors. Take his Raptors, then reset and go top to bot here.
Wait, so go crab, then to his Raptors,
To the enemy Raptors.
and then because Diana's gonna be on top side,
Yeah.
and then reset,
And then go clear Krogs and full clear down.
Then full clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it depends on the exact elo of the games and whether he actually... You can even ask the client, like, do you get counter jungled often? Like,
Right.
do you think it's going to be the case that your Raptors get taken if you aren't on them on spawn? But even here, like, you can do this pretty sloppy, I would say, Nathan. Let's cut him some slack. I reckon if he did this crab, what does he do next here? Does he go to the...
So what he does, he goes
No,
like, holy crap.
this is the problem.
This is really
Okay.
not good, right? Because
Well, he's literally standing next to the Raptors that are available, the enemy Raptors. And then he shows on vision, runs through mid.
low percentage game.
He's got 600 gold in his inventory.
So he just took took a tower shot.
and Diana's gonna be here.
Yes.
Can easily.
This
be
is the
here.
problem, is that he is actually dead if Diana QEs.
If Diana's
from the
right
bush.
here, you're dead. No.
Yeah, he does. And he's even queuing the crab and stuff.
Wow.
So
What is Diana doing?
She's just on her top camps.
That's crazy.
so interestingly enough, Curtis, it's like a similar issue to him doing the bot gank is there's no information gathering.
And then he goes back to Raptors. Holy moly.
And this is the thing is that, you know, this is why it's really important to be sort of more critical of your gameplay is that you're going to get away with so many things.
shit.
And this is what you can sort of get away with as
This
a
is like
jungler.
my, because I don't coach jungles for those,
Yeah.
you know, and so looking at the jungler's perspective, this is not even League of Legends to me though. For me, when I look at this, from a laner's perspective, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not, like, nothing makes sense.
No. To be honest, actually, I will cut him some slack. One thing that does make sense is that he didn't go for the Gromp. He valued
that's
his
true.
he valued his respawning level 2 camps more than the Gromp,
Well,
which was cool.
well, he valued the top crab, I guess. I think that's more so the thing.
Yeah, he valued
He was
top
close.
crab.
Again, he's close. And this is where you talk about the was it circuit board, everything sort of
Yeah.
connecting together. You know, we're close.
We're close,
You
I
know,
guess. You got like two, yeah.
but
sure.
but when it doesn't connect as a jungler, it's very punishing.
Because I'm okay. So let's just the way I'm viewing this, right?
Yep.
Let's just talk for a second about replicability, right? Like in an alternate reality, right? We could have done. We did top to bot. We failed that gank bot. Everyone lived. Okay. Let's say Dinah then doesn't die. They all live. Dinah then resets, goes onto top camps. We try to do the double scuttle. Dinah meets us on top side. We die on that scuttle. The whole
lose
game
our
is
Raptors,
different.
yeah.
You've made the exact same decisions, but the game is like a 180 different. You see what I mean? Like you
That's
made.
why we cover the options. Like there are so many correct plays that he could have done.
Yeah,
Enemy
right.
Raptors, insta recall, taking.
So it's
crab,
more about
like-
understanding the underlying concepts. The
Yeah.
underlying concepts of being back on those Raptors. That's really important.
spending your gold.
Spending-
Spending
the
your
gold.
gold. Really, really important.
Be as strong as possible.
Like
Jungle
tracking
tracking.
the enemy jungler,
thinking,
knowing what
where
camps
is Diana going to go out of base?
Yeah, knowing what camps Diana has and hasn't done is
I
really.
mean, that's what you would ask in the review, right, Nathan? You'd always ask, okay, where's Diana going to go out of base? And they have to know.
yeah, if they don't know
must
that, yeah, it doesn't matter. There's
If
no
they don't
point.
know, then great. Let's tell them, and then they can
Yeah.
learn from that.
So it's not about the decision. From what I'm gathering from you guys so far, it's not about the decisions you make. It's about how you come to those decisions. That's actually the most
extremely
important.
yeah, because
thing.
jungle's like a very open-ended role. There's so
Yeah,
many so many
interesting.
right and wrong decisions.
It's so different to lane.
It's brutal.
In
It's
lane,
hard.
you're very limited in a way with what you can do. You're kind of stuck. Like there's minions, and you got to be on those minions, and like you can't just randomly
Well, there's a psychology element, Curtis, because if you think Diana's go for your Raptors, then you can trade hers, and if you don't, then you can maybe get greedy and get both. You know, like there's interesting stuff.
It's
that
cool.
goes
It's very
into
cool. It's an interesting role jungle.
It's fun.
It's very fun. It looks fun.
And this is why it can be challenging when new players start it. Because there's a lot that goes into it.
a lot.
Right?
Incredibly unintuitive at times. I would
Yeah.
say. Incredibly unintuitive.
You can see how League, through this lens of a jungler, it's a lot more strategic than I think a lane. You know, I think there's a lot more strategy when you're playing a lane. I mean, there's lane strategy, but it's just not the same.
Well, I would say that like this is like tactical. What he's doing.
Yeah.
He's playing with information.
Okay, so let's go back. So he's come out of base. He spent his gold. He's really strong, right? You're really, really, really strong. So what should the mindset be here? As an Amumu, coming out of base, we're in silver. What should we be thinking?
So you're sort of always connected to your camp. So you're always going to prioritize camps first, unless there's something really, really important that you think you need to do.
Can you pause it on a tab? Like, because I want to look at who's strong and who's weak. Because we can start thinking about that at this point in the game.
So you already know that Quinn is like behind.
Where's my tab screen? Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Yeah,
And
so,
no
I mean,
one really,
like,
right?
Look, Caitlyn's doing well. Caitlyn's fine. She's up CS. They both died once. Whatever. Pike's doing well. Pike also works well into that enemy lane, and you can almost make the assumption that because these guys have died, they probably have no flash. So you can maybe look to influence that a little bit. Grubs are also spawning.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about the grubs, the dragon. I'm thinking about, where Diana is right now. I'm thinking that, okay, punishing summoner spells is really important as a jungle. We know that bot has no sums at all, and I got Pike and Mumu against Lulu Siva. So sort of those, again, sort of all our options. But, right now, I mean, we'll sort of have to look at bot wave and mid wave sort of first to have an idea. But coming here to do our camps is completely fine.
100%. A silver player coming out of base, do the camps.
Do camps, and then we
cannot go wrong with that.
Yeah. All right, so we look mid here. Echo's really low, so Echo should theoretically be base in here, but he might greed for the wave.
Yeah.
So what we decide to do is we just go to gank mid. Now, honestly, this gank is actually okay because, well, number one, Pike's coming, and number two, Oriana's in an aggressive mindset because she's going to try and solo kill Echo.
Echo's low.
So skipping Gromp here actually does make sense.
Yep, it does. I would have liked him to gather a little bit more information about where the wave was and stuff, but
This guy's
really good queue. Like, honestly, actually, no. That's a good outcome of a queue. The input of that queue was bad.
But-
very, like...
But again, I think it's the mindset of the queue. Like if you had the mindset that Oriana's not going to be thinking about us and was Oriana's attention is focused on the Echo, which it is a fine queue.
Yeah.
Right, because there's multi-threat. This
That's a good
Oriana's
point.
mental is overwhelmed. You can go for a max range queue, in my opinion. Speaking from a laner's perspective,
if you can beat them to the punch.
yeah,
like,
you have to read their body language to see if they know you're there or not. But this looks great. He's doing a great job.
All right, so Diana, this is really important now for jungle tracking. Now, Diana would be sort of clearing her bot camps. You show she's going to be going towards probably her top camps now. So I'm sort of thinking as well, I want to get level 6 ASAP. So what are we going to do here?
Well, again, like, you have to use your Raptor respawn as an important next step. Like, this is why Raptor start is so important because they spawn so quickly. Like, you have to always think about getting back.
So how's this dragon?
I think it's completely fine, to be honest.
We know Diana can't be here, right? Or should?
Well, no, she could be here, but she can't contest.
It's okay.
Right?
I mean, your support's like doing really well.
Yeah, the support's a
Your-
beast.
I mean, your Echo. I would ping Echo off actually. If we're gonna get really specific, I don't want my Echo hitting this dragon. I want him to value zone reset.
So now we should be looking to do what now?
We need our top camps off the map.
Okay.
So we're sort of wasting
Would you
some
insta
tempo.
reset after dragon to go straight back to Raptors, or would you do Gromp?
just walk.
Just walk,
to
yeah.
Raptors.
Walk, yeah. Okay. So remember also as well, by the way, Diana would be on Grubs as well, by the way. So you could do Raptors, get level 6, and then contest her on Grubs. Because the mindset of junglers is that what they do, Curtis, is that you lose Dragon here, your initial reaction is to trade for it. So she'll force that, and we actually saw her on the map, by the way.
But can you even contest Grobs in topside? Because Echo's low. Echo's going to have to reset, no?
Yeah, so that's an option that you would have to
You can just
assess.
do Raptors, hit 6, assess.
Assess. And remember, you're only level 6 to level 5. You might just catch her with her pants down quickly and get a quick
Could you
kill.
invade like the red or something?
You could, but I would rather, I think defending your top camps here is more valuable. Do you know why? Because it's just a red buff versus 3 of your camps.
Yeah, you're not going to get the rest
right?
of the camps because Diana would have already cleared Raptors.
Yeah.
I would also say that like top side of the map is kind of just where you want to be at this point in the game.
Okay,
Like,
so this is where the
Jungle Dragon. We know that these
Yeah.
camps are down because Diana cleared, remember, bot to sort of top here.
Yeah.
Now the red buff's up, so you could take the red buff, but
But
again,
it's just not efficient.
And we're losing our top camps and all that. So this is obviously a bit of a disaster.
just remember, Nathan, what we would tell a client here as Diana is don't do grubs, invade top instead. Especially as Diana, who's like a farming jungler. Like we usually have the mindset that like taking all the top side camps is better than taking the grubs.
If you can get 3 top camps, yeah.
Correct, yeah.
This is a concept that a lot of people don't understand. Even laners, they think, "Oh, my jungler got invaded." Unless they're getting multiple camps, it's a lot of the time not worth it.
It's interesting that he just threw his Q over to the golems there without even
It
panning
means
camera
he has no
bot
idea,
lane.
right? He has no idea about the jungle clear.
Yeah, the jungle.
Look at
tracking
the camera
stuff.
panning, by the way. There's zero
Well-
camera panning on that lane state.
Well, his bot was fighting that entire time. And this is just an Amumu execution thing. Is again, we're getting back to the Q usage.
Yep,
The
just
best
walk
way to
up.
play this one is walk up, and you can probably bait Siv's spell shield just by walking
Yep.
at her.
Yeah. Now, we showed on the map here, we give Dinah options. Again, we're probably going to be losing
Our whole top side should be gone.
So,
now.
unfortunately, in these situations, you're probably going to be in a split map situation. You can actually make this play in gank bot and kill bot if you want to burn some sums. It's actually sometimes fun. You can trade that, but you just need to make sure you go back bot out of base, basically.
Yep.
And then go back. You mean take Dinah's Raptors?
have to go
on
straight to
spawn.
her
Yeah,
Raptors
yeah,
and Krugs,
exactly. You just got to
correct.
commit to the split
Yeah.
map. The worst thing you could do is go to your top side right now because Dinah theoretically should have taken your top side camps, right?
So he recalls now, and then he goes to the top camps, right? And then these camps are all going to be alive because junglers
You're in
don't,
silver.
in silver
Correct.
don't count anymore.
Okay,
That's
I
right.
see. I'm getting a feel for this. I can see now. I can understand why these junglers are in silver, like what it's like.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see.
So like that's a massive end of review from Dinah's perspective.
Yeah.
You know, like this is a massive missed opportunity. You know.
Yeah.
And like, look at his CS. He's doing well. He's
Yeah.
he's valuing golden experience, which is something that like often junglers mess up.
Oh no! Don't tell me we're looking for
All right.
a 2v2.
So
This is a big point in the VOD. This is big.
So remember, our Quinn is our weak side of the map.
Go back to when we press tab. Let's get some information.
It was back here.
There we go. 30 CS, 0
This game
to
is so
Quinn.
free, by the way.
Ambessa, level 8 with a full Eclipse. We look bot lane. Caitlyn is 10 CS up with a Dirk and a pickaxe. Siva has like shitty
We burnt
components.
Flash just before,
And
by the way.
Echo-
Echo's in a really good position
Echo's
as
doing
well.
great. 0 deaths on Echo. Also, Amumu, he's doing well. He's one item. Look at
Gary.
him.
Yeah, dude. And look at how far Dinah is behind because she didn't take those top camps.
So
right?
we, as players that understand the game, we can take a look at this and we can instantly tell how we're going to win this game. We know it's not going to be anything to do with top. It's going to be minimizing top side, trading it off, and it's going to be stacking dragons because we've already got one dragon with our Caitlyn lane. It's going to be punishing the flashless Siva and snowballing bot lane, maybe doing some stuff mid opportunistically.
Yeah, and
That's what it should look like.
Yeah, and you can just live in Dinah's jungle. She can't contest you. You'll kill her on repeat every
You win
single
every
time.
2v2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So remember the outcome of this game. Remember was just blaming Quinn and trying to help Quinn and compensate. Right. This is why it's so important to get specifics. But as Charles said, this is an important
This
part
is
of the game.
you know I use this a lot in my reviews. This is literally the worst decision you could possibly make in the game right now. You could do anything else. You could literally do anything else. The worst thing you could do is go top here.
So very risky spending time over here.
He is a bit scared of. So he knows Ambessa's here, but
So inefficient with time as well, isn't it?
Yeah, enemy bot games are probably up.
well again
Those Raptors would be up 100%.
Yeah, her
right?
Raptors and Krugs are up. But
Yeah.
again, this is just a consequence of thinking that the fact that we even go into top after Krugs, we should be insta recall and go straight to bot.
So you can see this recurring trends. No idea about jungle camps, right? Tracking jungle camps.
We've
not
spent-
thinking about win cons at
Yeah.
all.
We're
And then not to mention the Amumu execution as well with the way we're fighting it. Holy mo! Look at the wave. By the way, just as a side note, this is not a good time to gank a laner because see the wave. What was happening with the wave?
Yeah,
It's
we'll
the
go
worst-
back. We'll go back and have a
It's
look.
the worst gank you could possibly do.
But Nathan, this is what would we call this? End of review.
End of review.
End of review.
This is why, Curtis, junglers end reviews early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Laners don't.
Yep.
But look at this wave state. Nathan, what does Quinn want to do right now?
Quinn just wants to farm the tower underway,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So what I talk about to say to people is that, okay, you can sometimes do these ganks. Let's say if Ambessa was like 30% HP and she had a bit of a shutdown, and you can just quickly get in and
has
get
to be
out
an
and
in and
kill.
out, yeah.
It has to be a quick in and out kill, but these are the lowest value ganks because number one, Ambessa's
She's
going to take
healthy.
ages to kill. Number two, Quinn doesn't want to help you at all, so it's going to take again you a while to kill. And Quinn wants to take the farm. So if Quinn comes and helps you here, she loses basically almost a kill worth of experience and gold anyway. And also as well is that Ambessa loses nothing. She's pushing the wave, so killing her doesn't mean anything here.
And that's all in the universe where you do kill her. In
Yeah.
this situation, you
Yeah.
can't because she's got a full eclipse and your Quinn has a slingshot.
And again, Ludwig here as a movement is ruining the game further for Quinn.
Oh,
right?
you're
That's
griefing
other
the
thing
game
is
as the jungler.
Exactly
You're literally
right.
griefing the game.
100%.
You're losing the game.
Yeah. There's
So
not
we
much to
get
say.
double
It's
killed, bam.
Like you said, Curtis, he could have done anything else.
You could do literally anything. You just have to understand at a high level. It's like, I got a weak side, I got a strong side. Let's just do something on bot side. Something.
This is the reality. This is he's not getting to this point where he can leave the game and consider this a pivotal moment. He's angry at Quinn.
He's angry at Quinn, yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't know. It's tough to talk about because like there's not any curiosity about how
It's
he
the game.
influenced the
It's
top
the game's
side.
the game. Look, this aspect of the game, funnily enough, is actually this is not the complicated part of League of Legends, right? The strong side, weak side. Understanding who's fed and who's weak that's the basics of League of Legends.
And
right?
that's what you need to learn as a
That's
silver
what you need to
player
learn. That's
and
why
stuff.
we're in
That's-
silver.
That's what we're seeing.
That's
here,
why
right?
we are in
100%.
silver.
He's
It
just,
all
not,
makes
he's just not
sense.
looking for the answers. Like he doesn't. It's like he doesn't care. It's like he doesn't know this stuff, and that's okay. You're allowed
That's
to
okay,
make these
yeah.
mistakes, but he's not looking.
So
for the
sort of
answers.
once again, we're fighting into the Embessa.
Dragon's
the Quinn.
up, by the way.
Dragon's up. We have,
he's got
things
no
we can
ulti.
do. We have no ulti. And fighting with that ulti is a very clear reference point as well.
Clear
with
reference
Amumu.
point for Amumu.
Yeah. So, we're ruining the game, I guess, again.
And
the
put
second
yourself,
time.
put yourself in Ambessa's shoes. You're loving life. Like, oh wow, the whole the game's being played around me. Yay! Like I'm a fed Ambessa. I'm just getting to skirmish
Wow,
the
he
whole
was
game.
in such a good position as well. That's crazy.
Boom.
So this is a perfect example of what a silver jungler
Yeah.
looks like, the principles, the things we can apply here, and the realities. And again, this is demonstrating again, it's got nothing to do with Quinn going 0 and 6 and 0
And
and 10
I would
this
even
game.
just say from this, it's not even about what happened in this specific game. It's how he came to those. You can see the clear gaps in skill. Not tracking the jungler, not understanding the significance of being back on his Raptors, not understanding strong side, weak side, just the ability usage as well. Max range Qs 24/7.
I'm gonna say something really brutal. Like even the stuff that he did that got him good results is not replicable. Not one decision was made replicable in this game. He didn't finish his full clear. He dropped off his camps to do a play without panning camera.
Yep.
He overstayed on the map and ran at top crab and should have died.
Yep.
He then based and went to his top side, which should have been gone. Like not one decision,
Just luck.
except for
It was a lot
maybe
of
the
luck.
one mid gank.
Maybe the execution of that mid gank, was quite good.
His first, that was good. And the
was good.
first dragon was good as well.
The first dragon,
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
probably
that's a good point.
they're the
Good point.
highlights.
Yes.
So there we go. That's our
sense.
first VOD here. I just want to just bring it back to that story that he created after the game where looked at the OPG, it probably wasn't a winnable game anyway, just a losable, but this is a very simple, easy game
free
to
win.
win.
Yes.
Just by polishing up a couple of basic things.
Very basics, yeah.
Right?
100%.
All right, let's go into we'll do another Amumu VOD now. Okay, for our second game here, another Amumu game against a Lilia jungle. We've got a Yone versus Renekton top, Smolder mid versus Victor. Is that an Oriana ADC and then Jin support and then a Thresh Tristana? Very, very, it's a very nice sort of well-rounded comp for pretty much everyone except for sort of their bot lane, to be honest. So that's actually quite surprising for a silver game.
Nathan, I don't think Jin supports well rounded.
Nathan, this comp is garbage.
What are you talking
about?
The enemy team.
The enemy comp.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
The
No,
enemy
to be honest,
team.
I have played with Jin support recently and I did win.
Oh, there you go.
Jin support has potential.
All right, so let's do our normal review. Let's check where the enemy jungler starts. So it looks like he's just doing Raptors start. He's keeping it. I like that he's keeping it simple every
Yeah,
game.
I
Stick something,
agree.
stick
Do
with
not
it.
worry about who you're pathing towards. Just do the same thing every game.
Yep. that's
Nice
good.
and replicable.
Yeah.
Remove variables.
So Renekton shows up in lane. Let's see if bot shows up in lane. Still need a little bit of time. Look at bot. Look at bot. Look at bot.
You got to look where they come from as well. If they come
That's
from
right.
a bush,
Okay, so that's a bot leash.
I would assume a bot leash, 100%.
Yeah. So we're matching our friend Lilia.
And Lilia blue start makes sense, right? Like Lilia likes to start blue.
Lilia also likes to start Raptors as well, Charles.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying like it align. Like you see the leash, and it makes sense. he starts
of
blue.
course,
Like,
correct,
It's,
yeah.
it's fine to start blue on Lilia.
Yeah. All right, so let's just skip through the clears. We're in a nice relaxing full clear.
Yep.
All right. Now, this is going to be important because remember, our mindset needs to be we're matching Lilia. So there's going to be a battle top side here. Or
That needs to be your assumption.
Yes.
You got to meet her on the crab face to face.
now Lilia showed up here, so ideally we need to know if she full cleared or she's level 3 still.
Yeah, I need to know what level she is. I will also say his Amumu clears a tad slow.
All right, so she's level 4, so that means she's full cleared. And we're going to battle. And now
Holy moly.
Lilia is full stacks, by the way. Oh, she is 3 stacks, 4 stacks here. So let's see if we can... So I like that he's just running at her, dude. He's just limit testing this.
Oh my goodness. I respect the limit test.
Yeah.
Honestly. Just
He approached this
that's
fight...
a good mistake.
He approached this fight as like, okay, I'm going to see if I can win this as 60% HP. Now, he does have a health potion. Should be popping that right now.
100%, yeah. He never pops the potion, by the way.
Yeah, you got to use that.
Also, I would say like it's okay to like hide and bait the jungler to start the crab. I think this is quite cool, but you should just do it from the other bush.
That's right.
And you should smite the crab.
Correct. You can just smite it away from her. So what you would do is that you see her top side here, and you plot yourself in this bush.
Yep.
She'll push the crab down towards you. You quickly ninja it, and you can go for a double crab. You don't even have to really fight it.
Yeah, exactly. You can just steal the crab and leave.
Because I don't really want to fight a
top's
Q
dead.
stack Lilia. Like, I'm not that healthy. Like, full HP flat out fights, unless you're extremely confident that you just absolutely gap them, you wouldn't even want to be taking them because, people can rotate.
But again, I think from a limit testing perspective,
let's go for it.
it's actually not bad in my opinion, right?
I agree.
You don't know what you don't know.
No, it's important to find out, does my champ beat this champ?
Yeah.
100-0. But again, he's not really
Execution's
learning that
not great.
because like he didn't pop the potion. He was in a bad position to start with.
Yeah.
But again, makes sense.
Yeah, so I think that's something you would clearly review and be like,
Yeah.
okay, my top laner was dead. Oh, okay, I probably could have popped my pot.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
I also think high level, like, were you ready for Lilia to be topside? Did you notice
that's the step
she got
one.
leash bot?
Yeah. Like, we expecting that gank top.
Right.
Now the other thing that as well for this game, like let's say if Ludwig was reviewing his games and understood, it's like, okay, if my top laner starts hard losing now, I'm not confused.
Yep.
Right? That's really important. Because obviously we gave double buffs to Renekton. We gave him a
And there's
kill.
also levels to that as well. When you jungle drag, you could also ping your danger top, right? If like
Definitely.
that's something you would do as a jungler.
Well, look, I mean,
Not
do
at this
you want to
elo
get into
bracket.
the weeds, Nathan? Like, I'm pretty sure there could have been some opportunities here. If we look at the wave state as he's finishing his clear, was there room for him to counter gank this? He's clearing so slowly, but there is an opportunity technically for him to slot himself in the top lane bush here and counter gank. I don't know if I'd ever do it.
I wouldn't
but
recommend
he should be.
skipping games.
I
I'll just
agree
be
with
ping it.
I agree with Curtis. He should at least spam ping.
If you see your
Curtis.
top lane under tower,
And
you
you
know
know
Lily
Lilia's
has done a
top.
bot to top.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be just to do danger ping and tribe would be nice, no?
Nathan, you would counter gank this as a top. I guarantee.
Well, it depends what champ I'm playing,
Yeah.
though. As a Mumu, I actually wouldn't. I'll do exactly
Okay,
this still.
gotcha.
If I'm playing... No, even as Rek'Sai, I just let him die as well. I mean, he's got the wave in
No,
it. so
you
it's
would
not-
just ping.
it's not even
You would
that.
just
Yeah, I'll just
ping.
ping, yeah.
Yeah.
And theoretically as well, the high elo as well, the top laner, that's a ward time window when he pushes
Yeah.
that wave in as well, by the way. So it might be, it will look a lot different in other games, right?
Yep.
But again, this is fine. This is
I
simple.
think it's fine.
All right, now the next thing here, he goes to Raptors out of base, which is going to ruin his sequence. No, it's
Isn't
not
it?
good.
Oh, 'cause
we want to go to Krugs, all right, and clear up, right? So
You only go to Raptors if you're there as they spawn.
Yeah.
Oh, so I didn't see it. Can't see it.
so we need to go to Krugs
okay,
out of
I
base,
see, I
right?
see.
Because this is getting really awkward now.
Because now you're going back down.
Yeah, back
he's
and
gonna-
then back
Yeah,
up.
your sequencing is so inefficient. I
Yep.
see.
The only reason you'll possibly go here is because you feel like that there's a threat that Lilia's going to take these, but she's not. She's just going to go back to her bot camp. She's doing crab.
100%. Lilia's mindset is going to be to basically just get her camps off the map.
So this is where you start falling behind in farm, when you stuff up like this, by the way, your sequence.
Yeah,
We
I
check
mean-
the crab.
Yeah.
Now we don't know what we're doing. We're just going to force a play, basically, usually what I say.
So your mindset here should be you should have been Krugs, Raptors, do another full clear
yeah,
again.
full sequence back up and play for the grubs.
That's the whole point of this.
And the
clear as
reason
well.
why we do that is because the reference point for Amumu is to get level
to
6. That's why. That's how you orient yourself
see.
in the game.
That's the significance of reference points.
And right now we're just running around the map like a headless chicken here, basically.
And obviously this is just like, it looks random, but yeah, if you had the reference point, it becomes a lot easier.
You will tell he's a little bit lost, right? He probably doesn't know how he should be thinking, right?
Yep.
So as we see...
And
very-
Curtis, this is a bit strange. Like we can watch the VOD and kind of riff on this because he's played so much Amumu, but he hasn't understood that Amumu is fundamentally a level 6 champion after this many games. So something to think
Now,
about.
this one is crazy.
So we know Lilia's matching us. She's top
Yeah.
side here, and our Yone's base. This is a psychopathic grub start.
Smoldex is weak as piss.
Yeah, and this is the, this is the classic jungle thing where you finish all your sequence and you're just whatever's closest to you, you will do.
yeah, you have to do it.
It's either the objective or a gank.
100%.
Right? So this is what
But
jungle is always
instead,
silver.
you should literally probably what?
Well, it's all
run back boss side or
It's
base or
all gone. I
something.
wouldn't even bother. Like, I mean, you could maybe look to contest it with some like what you would do again if you know because Lily will start the grubs.
yeah.
If you want to get aggressive, you sit in the. This is our favorite bush, the banana bush, by the way. The
Yeah.
same thing with the crab. Sit in that bush, wait for it to start it, and then come and fight. Wait for Yona. You can catch her on the last couple of grubs, or you can just insta recon, just do dragon, just do a try.
It's the base.
Insta base.
Yeah.
Get away from topside. Get away
yeah.
from the Renekton I fed,
And
and
you
get
don't want
away
to be
from the
skirmishing
Lilia.
with the Smolder, that's for sure.
No, that's right. So yeah, you reset and you go to dragon here. That's right.
Yep.
So let's see if he gets away with this again, Curtis. Let's have a look. Or
You know
he
what's
gets
funny, by
punished.
the way? I reckon if Yon and Renekton was still in lane, he would have ganked top instead of done the grubs.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I like he's dragging them out, by the way. It's very good for AoE.
Yeah.
That's correct.
But what's bad is he's used both Qs on the grubs.
Yeah, so
which means
he's
that if any
insta-dead.
combat happens,
Yeah.
he's just
Lilia
done.
just did dragon.
Yeah, so that means that she
So what
did-
does that mean? Yeah.
So that means
Top
she
cams
she
are
did-
still
her
up.
top cams are all
Correct,
up.
yeah.
That's right. And again, like junglers in silver and stuff, they're obsessed with objectives. They will skip camps and sequences and
So
rotations.
now
all
we
the
go
time.
straight to Raptors. We should be going straight to
Well,
her
we actually
Raptors.
can't. We've lost the window because
Oh,
she's
it's
running
gone.
straight to the
Yeah.
Raptors
Right,
now,
I see.
right? So we just have to reset and go back to our bot camp. So look at our bot camp spawn because we stuffed it up. Raptors in 2 seconds and Krugs. It will be much better if our Krugs are up in 2 seconds. We can clear back bot to top, right? So we are level 6 and we're going to run in the jungle. We can have a crack. Actually, we are level 6 advantage. She will still be level 5, actually. So
That's
it's
the
not-
benefit of grubs, right? You
Yeah,
get
that's
6,
right.
yeah.
But again, the fact that we're using Qs on this, we should be
be
prepared for
pulling
the
it as well,
bite.
right?
And we should be prepared for battle.
Lilia got double crab and kills. She could be 6.
She could be. But that's a bit flipped. Like, she could have easily been there by the time they did Dragon, right? But
Yeah.
I like that he's thinking about that, though. That's actually quite impressive, though.
It is. I agree.
Now, that ward's probably quite useless.
I think the Q over the wall is psychopathic because there is the chance that Lilia based off the dragon and ran top. Did we see her bot during this whole
Or
sequence?
she just ganked bot then.
ganked
Okay, sorry, I couldn't see
yeah.
the map. We saw her bot. Okay, cool.
So what happened here is, again, she did Dragon, and then she sort of just stayed on the map. But again, she could have easily...
Well, we didn't know that, right? We didn't actually know.
But if we were to zoom out and think about
We
this
d- we
decision in terms of win cons, though, like we don't really want to be spending much time top. Like, isn't it much better to play around the bot lane here?
Well, taking camps is still fine. It's still value. Each camp that you deny, you're basically denying... If she doesn't take your camps and you get hers, it's 100 plus, 100 minus. So you're basically getting 200 gold for each camp you deny. It's quite good.
I'd give this play a go if I was the Amumu.
Yeah.
I would give this play a go. I would run Spider-Man Q to the minion and then try and go again, honestly.
You could have a crack at that.
Maybe that's psychopathic, but I think it's okay to look here. I think he doesn't value not showing on the map. I think this is something that we should talk about, Nathan, is like a player in silver should start experimenting with the idea of staying in fog of war more often and like being more of a threat. Because every time you show on the map, you give the enemy team too much information.
It's the exact same moment as well. 8 minutes in the game, Curtis. All he's shown on the map as well, and all his bot camps are up once again. Right, so this is the same
Very
mistake
dangerous.
again. You know,
Hosting
2
a
times
farm
in a
jungler
row.
again as well.
And it's the same time in the game, so we're sort of seeing a pattern here, right?
Well, it's what you said earlier, Nathan. He finished the enemy top camps. His top may as well like.
Might as well do something.
I think it would have been fine
I
if
think
he
that
killed
gang
if he
works.
killed Renekton.
Yeah,
but
that,
he
that
just
game works.
execution again. And then he's
There's
in
multiple layers, right? There's multiple things that need work. The execution of his ganks definitely need work.
Yep.
His sequencing needs work.
And consideration when he's showing
His
on the
jungle
map.
tracking.
Yeah.
I mean, all the fundamentals need work, really, to be honest.
That's right.
And again, we're redeploying bot.
And because, again, we're in silver, we probably haven't lost any of our camps. But, oh, good job, Lilia. She's actually taken the camps this time.
Damn.
I like this a lot. I don't think she took the Raptors, though. Maybe she did take the Raptors.
I think she took golems and
Yeah,
red.
golems and red, looks like. So it looks like we're quite angry that we've lost that. And this is another thing I see as well, is that junglers, when they lose their camps, because you've thrown an X factor, their mental state's overwhelmed. So their autopilot,
Where do I go? Huh?
their autopilot is like, oh, I'm just running at you.
I need to punish you.
Yeah, that's right.
Get back here.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see what he's saying here. He might be angry that we lost his camps.
Oh, they're all gone, all three.
but he
You
lost
got
his
a gank,
camps
got
for
a
a
gank
reason.
now. No,
Yeah.
it's actually a decent gank, though.
It is. Victor is honestly not doing the most
That's-
optimal play by walking up like this.
I mean, he knew that Amumu was there.
That's
right?
crazy by Victor, but still, I mean, good adaptation by Ludwig.
Very lucky. It's just an opportunity.
just
He
pure
never
luck.
knew that it's just a pushed up
No,
burst.
look,
and
actually, no,
getting
That's
I'm not
awesome.
gonna- I'm not going to say that's luck. It's not luck. That's opportunistic.
Yeah.
Luck is this, like, let's pause because
No, Curtis, he shouldn't have actually put himself in the position to capitalize.
No, but the reason I sometimes be careful with the use luck, because luck means like, no, the reason I prefer opportunistic is you're a jungler, you just punish the laner that was overextended and not respecting your presence, right? That is what you just did.
No, but Curtis, it's luck in the sense of he lost his camps. He didn't know what he was doing next. It just happens to be a play instantly.
Sure. Like maybe that's fortunate. Sure, that is luck, that element of it. But if you like, I don't know, because there is going to be a lot of shit happening where like your lane opponents are going to disrespect. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So like, I just think, yeah, sure, I get what you mean, but I want to just clarify the luck aspect isn't the gank that it works. The gank, the gank itself is good, but the opportunity being there is lucky.
Yeah, so I would say that like to credit it on opportunism, you would have to come out the river here and look at the mid-wave state now.
And you can see the Victor's like over.
Oh, Victor's because the game makes sense. It's like Victor, look, he's hitting for tower.
He's
after
greeting
crashing
for
away.
plates.
Right, he's hitting plates. But yeah, there's no information gathering until it's like literally right in front of him.
Right, it's the last second. Yeah,
But yeah, I agree with you. He made the luck by being there. Yeah. Cool.
All right.
I like that he tried to hold his ulti and blew the flash. This was nice.
And I love the max range R's as well, just on the edge. Those are the most valuable, actually, R's you can sort of do as well.
Exactly, because if he insta-QR'd, he wouldn't have got Victor's flash in that situation.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
All right, so we go back to camps. I like
So now
it.
what am I thinking as soon as I ulti as a Amumu? I'm thinking camps, downtime,
Yep,
wait
chill.
till it's back up, then make a play.
You're looking to reset. You're looking to do your
And
camps.
that's the beauty of these champs, like Amumu, Fiddle, Nocturne,
Yep.
etc. Very clear reference point. No R, no fight type thing.
Correct.
So that's good. That's really good. I like that he didn't even bother about top, just insta-recall back to his bot camps.
By the way, Smolder is scaling very well this game. Like, that's a win condition in the making, is this Smolder scaling into mid-game. So I'd be quite comfortable. Like, yeah, you're down a bit, but it's kind of understandable. Renekton's a strong early game champion. You made some mistakes. This game's in an okay spot.
Lilia took his Raptors again.
Yeah, once you fall behind on sequencing, it's tough. Especially because Lilia is so good at counter jungling.
All right, now, we have no ult, Curtis. We always say, usually as a Mumu, when you have no ult, things usually go bad. His Smolder's in base. Unfortunately, and also as well, there's nothing to fight over for here. There's no camps. So let's have a look at what his mindset is here.
Yeah, we should just be keep clearing upwards, right? Potentially.
Yeah, I mean, this is where it's, just play for the grubs. You
Grubs,
just trade,
maybe?
go to the grubs. Yeah, that's it.
Pretty end of review mistake.
There you go. And he's baited his Jhin as well. He got everyone killed, and then they lose Dragon, and there's no trade for it.
This is why reference points are so broken for learning, because you don't have to get into the weeds of like numbers advantages, like what objectives are, what camps are, pathing. You literally just say to yourself after this death, oh, I didn't have ult. That's all you say. Because you would never have looked for it if you didn't.
Because the great thing about reference points, it's not going to prevent you. It's not going to kind of ensure that you make great plays all the time. But what it will do is it will prevent you from making game losing plays for the most part.
It keeps you out of
Exactly
trouble, is
right,
the way I
yes.
put it.
Yeah, it keeps you out of trouble.
That's how I
Exactly.
put it, yeah.
Yeah, and the other reference points here is like, what am I fighting over for here as a jungler?
Where's my Laner's prior?
Exactly
Your
right.
Smolder's in base.
Smolder's in base.
Also, if we're talking about another Amumu reference point, you're very close to your Leandries. So I would probably be more incentivized to farm for Leandries, and then it'd be really cool if he made his play with ult and Leandries.
Yeah.
That would make a really high percentage play.
Operational Leandries, absolutely.
Yep.
A little tip as well I always say to people is that if you have gold for like a cloth armor or extra on base, don't buy that.
Yep.
Save it for the investment of Leandries, because you don't know, you might have an awkward base. So don't waste because Leandries is just such a good spike. Don't start buying other components for other things. Even though that feels inefficient, it's going to pay off in the long run. It could, it could be really, really bad.
So
on Leandries, yeah.
So I guess to summarize the key learnings here, again, not really aware, it seems, of the enemy jungle pathing, right? So we're not really aware of that at all. We're doing a pretty poor job of sequencing our camps. We are, you would say, not playing in accordance to our reference points with our R. We're also getting, again, quite lucky in terms of just like overstaying on the map and then opportunistic plays happening. Not really considering trading of camp, like if Lilia was on one side of the map. We're not like fully making sense of that. Like, could Lilia be taking out camps? We're not even aware of that.
We're not aware of what we could lose if we show on the map.
Yep, showing on the map. Laner's prior is another one.
He also just gets quite flustered when the Lilia invades him. His responses both times when Lilia has invaded him is kind of just, like Nathan said, run at her.
Flip it.
Instead of just go back to camps.
Or yeah, there's like two tiers to it, right? You could preempt the invade and then trade, which would be great. But just underneath that is like, respond to the invade by calmly walking away. That would be better.
So the great thing about this is that any one of these could be great learning objectives.
Yep.
Any of them. They're all fine. They're all great, right? They're all viable learning objectives that you could really drill in the post game. Just boom, I'm going to look at that. And then great, take that away. And then imagine you have a sample size of 50 games and you imagine you put 10 games of focus on each of the over 50 games. You got like 5 concepts. Yeah, like 10 games on each of those concepts.
Yep.
You'd make huge progress.
100%. And some of these learning objectives, like we said, like playing in accordance to ulti, like that doesn't take that long to kind of internalize, because you're going to get so, like, the feedback cycle is going to be so fast. We're going to get
quick.
rewarded so nicely for that.
And something like, you always say the way you start as learning objectives, the first one, do you know where the enemy jungle started? That's like literally the bedrock.
It's sort of the basis of all your decision making most of the time.
Correct.
Moving on.
All right, next VOD here, Fiddlesticks.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to get into the third VOD here. And while he was kind of loading into the game, he's been kind of sent these videos from people saying, please just do this exploit, play whatever this is, looks like. Nas says you get from silver 4 to diamond 1 in a week, right? And you'll see now what we've tried to make clear in this video is that the game is the game, right? The underlying fundamentals are there for a reason. Like all these things we're talking about are not sexy. Tracking the enemy jungle, sequencing your camps properly, all these things, right? That's nothing to do with whatever champion you're playing. These concepts will exist no matter what, and you have to learn them. Now, whether you get some gimmick and you do some kind of bullshit thing and you gimmick some LP, you're not learning the game properly, right? You're going to eventually drop back down. That thing's going to get nerfed. Boom, you're right back to where you started and you've learned nothing, right? And this is why we say, like, these gimmicks, these builds, they just don't matter. They're just delaying the inevitable. That you got to learn these concepts.
Also goes without saying, you will not get from silver 4 to diamond 1 in 1
No.
week. And if you make the same mistakes about getting to your camps on spawn and stuff, that's pretty fundamental to something like a Nasus jungle.
There's no champ in the history of League of Legends that's so broken or overpowered that you can skip all that.
All that, yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
1600 LP, right? It doesn't exist. It can maybe get you about 300, maybe.
You can get 300 LP.
400 LP, but
Yep.
this is quite extreme. All right, so let's get into the VOD now here.
This one is a Fiddlesticks, so different champion here.
Now, to preface this, we made a Fiddlesticks guide for our Jungle Academy. Charles actually made it, specifically targeted at new lower ranked players.
Yes.
So we are quite proficient teaching the Fiddlesticks champion.
I think Fiddle's great. I think Fiddle has literally some of the clearest reference points in the game as a jungler, and he's like mechanicsless in a lot of ways in the terms of like aiming abilities and like he's very unique. But if you can enjoy Fiddle, I think he's a really cool champion to learn the game through. Teaches you a lot about like fog of war, playing around your ulti, sequencing camps. He's just great. I love Fiddle. I have a soft spot for Fiddlesticks.
More junglers should be playing Fiddlesticks. Very
I think
underplayed
Fiddle's
champion.
a great champion, even as a lane. I love when Fiddle's on my team.
Yep. You know exactly what's Fiddle's going to do. It's
you know
so
what
good.
to do. He's like, does Fiddle have R? All right, yep, boom. We just play around this neutral objective with Fiddle R.
All right, so as we get into this game, make sure, again, we're checking with enemy jungler stats. One thing we always look at Fiddlesticks is, though, is can they do the clear properly? The little niche thing with red and Krugs.
Yeah, Fiddle's got a bit of a janky clear. He clears insanely quickly if you know how to do it. So you're meant to do 3 auto attacks between the W's. So he has done that very, very nicely. We're looking at bot lane. I haven't seen the enemy bot lane
Camille
show.
showed up in top, so
Yep.
let's look at bot. And
Doing this heavily mechanical clear while tracking the
hard.
laners is hard, but
Yeah.
obviously that's why we build muscle memory and chat mastery. And it looks like bot lane has
It's a bot
in
leash.
fact leashed.
Yeah.
And he's done that beautiful mechanic there where you E smite WQ
Wow.
over the wall.
This is really impressive.
It's cool. I mean, yeah, it's quite hard to learn this for a lower ranked player like this, for
Wow,
a
that's
for a newer
crazy.
player. Yeah, it's great.
He gets all the little ones as well.
That's
Yeah.
so fast.
Oh, no, not close.
Oh, he missed one of the smaller ones. He
Yeah.
should just W a little bit faster.
Yeah.
That's okay.
213, Curtis. That's
Wow.
insane.
So
That's
technically you
so
could level
fast.
3 gank at like 220, but we don't recommend you do that.
We full close Fiddlesticks.
Yep.
So we're passing opposite to our friend. Now this is going to be good important information because then that knows like how much do I, how rushed am I going to be going to bot?
What was the enemy jungle?
It was
Remember?
I think it was a Rammus, right? Was it Rammus?
we'll have to look at the tab screen when it
So,
comes back
so
up.
as a jungler, do you talk in Silver about pinging your laners?
It's Ambessa jungle, sorry. Ambessa jungle.
Like, do you talk about that in Silver? Would you say like just drop a ping on like you're pathing opposite side?
Yeah,
your
ping
tops-
where they are.
Ping where they
Yeah,
are. Like
it's
you
a
could be
total
danger on like blue buff or something now.
Yep,
Like
that's right.
I would say that it gets more important at the end of the clear. Like Ambessa will full clear probably, so you can probably start pinging around the 3-minute mark around where Garen is.
And around, especially 330 with Crab, you spam ping your
Yeah.
laner in the Crab because they either do Crab or they gank.
Yeah.
All right.
So he actually did mess up the clear a little bit here. This is like a little bit suboptimal. He's trying to pull the camps together when he doesn't need to, but not super important. As you can see, he's going to clear very, very quickly.
Just a little thing there. He looked at, interesting, just really nitpick. He looked at top first. You would always look at bot and mid first because that's the places you could
it's
potentially
useless
impact.
it's useless
basically
information,
elusive
right? You're not going
yes.
to do anything with it.
So the little one there, and you know where sometimes I feel that comes from is that this is a bit of a psychoanalysis, but just what I've observed over my years of coaching jungle is that he wants to check to see how low Camille got to see how good his Garen
Exactly.
was.
Yeah, he's actually justifying the death. If Camille's full HP, you're like, wait, Garen can't be that bad. But if
Yeah.
it was close, you're like, okay,
Right.
nice try,
Interesting.
Gaza. That was a close one, you know?
Interesting.
Bit of a psychoanalysis there, but it's genuine. That's a genuine
Because
thought.
I've
I'm,
seen-
I'm on the same page. I
Well,
understand.
I've seen something different. You can continue to VOD, but I've seen something different with laners where they'll like gather all this information and they're doing it not because they're actually gathering it just to like look cool, like APM and shit.
Oh,
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like,
interesting,
dude, you shouldn't, just stop. Just stay focused on your lane, you know? Who cares what your top lane is doing here, you know?
I also think there's kind of just the aspect of like, it's like watching Netflix. You want to know what's happening, you know? It's like keeping in line with the story. Cool. So we're trading crabs, Nathan. We are trading crabs.
I like this ward, by the way. This is good because this is going to protect from when the enemy jungler resets and goes back.
Beautiful.
But here, so as Fiddlesticks, I guess you want to utilize the bushes, but actually technically the best ward is on the Krugs.
Yeah.
Because then you get to see specifically
Specifics,
if they're going to go to their Raptors or they're going to go for the gank.
I think this ward's better in this case because if he walked all the way to the Krugs, he's going to be late for the crab, then maybe late for his Raptor spawn. So
But he seems like he's in a
understandable.
really good position. You know, he's done a full clear.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
good.
Great.
Very replicable. He should just do it. He should just walk the safe way to his Raptors now.
Yeah.
Walk all the way around the back of mid tower, then do Raptors, then do Golems, then base.
So this is again the showing on the map.
Showing on the map.
He didn't have to. He had plenty of time on his Raptors. His Raptor spawns in 18 seconds.
so much time.
So there's no reason to show on the map here. Again, you're making it easy for the enemy jungler. Now
And you're making it easy for Swain and Seraphine. They can now do whatever they want because you've actually shown you're
everyone
walking
knows where
away
you
from
are.
them. Yeah.
we could have got assassinated here, you know?
Yeah.
Or we could be losing our Raptors because we got hard chunked. We're running in with no vision, you know? If the enemy jungler is, waiting for us there.
Yeah, it's actually strange that the enemy jungler isn't waiting for it.
we don't
That
know.
is strange. Like, where is Ambessa?
I think Ambessa is just a really slow clear.
No, Ambessa has a 310 full clear. So
No, but this guy probably doesn't know how to do the clear because it's his first time in it. So and again, this is the same thing. Ambessa should be top.
Ambessa could be here.
We're
And
contested with no smite.
He's actually feared the crab. He's used every ability on the crab, and Ambessa should be here on paper.
The exact same mistake as that first game, Curtis.
There she is.
Where we potentially were getting away with things.
We could have just been already done Raptors,
Raptors
by now.
and
No, we
Krugs.
could be in base
You could
almost.
almost be in base,
Like, it's
yeah.
actually, So again, jungle tracking is a common trend. Good learning objective.
then he-
Probably a mandatory learning
So,
objective.
and you see, he just typed there. He said their jungler here. We should have already known that from jungle tracking, but
Typing's useless. Just ping. Just
And
drop
also,
a
can I
danger.
just say that we can play the VOD, but even if we didn't see where Ambessa started, you could infer that Ambessa is on top crab the second you don't see her on the bot crab. So you don't even need to know where she
You don't
starts.
even need to know,
You don't even need to know.
process of elimination.
Correct, yes.
If she's not
Because
there,
it's understandable he might have missed for leash, right?
Yeah.
But he should be able to deduce it.
That's right. That's a good point.
A lot of chaos happening bot side. He's looking at the summoner spell usage, which is good.
So we should just reset, no?
Yeah, so this is, I call this I'm sort of trying to come up with the name of this gank. This is a very specific gank.
It
People
is.
do on the 8 camp clear. They do the 8 camps. They have no items. They have a lot of gold. And they always try and gank top here or bot, I guess. And if you actually look, what's the information top? There's no wave. And also the enemy top laner could be, warded. It could be, full HP. I have no information here. Okay, looks
Can I
like
say that a level
wave.
5 Fiddlesticks does no damage?
It's 0 damage. Yeah.
Like negative damage.
So the fact that we even
We could be
walked-
basing on a ward.
Correct.
Yeah.
Probably is. Yeah.
You
Easily
don't,
could be.
I see people go for this gank all the time, and even if you go for the gank, it's like you give the enemy jungler so many options. You could lose your bot camps, you could lose dragon.
I'm pretty passionate about hating this build, so I am just going to bring this up really quickly. But I like full AP Fiddlesticks. I think it synergizes way better with this kit. He's going for like a more of a tanky mana build with Malignant and Leandries and stuff. Obviously, this is not why he's winning or losing games, but can't help myself. Need to bring that up. Should go Proto Belt.
I understand as a Fiddlesticks aficionado, Charles.
Okay, so he had a bit of a delay, Nathan, but all in all, he's back on camps. He's thinking about hitting his
He
level 6
hasn't actually really done a failed gank pre-6, which is good, right?
Almost. You
Almost did.
Almost, but we're kind of noticing
Why are we
again, he's
skipping-
left the Gromp up in favor of going for the Grubs again. So if we take stock of the map right now, Garen is 1 HP, Camille is dead, and looks like Twisted Fate has priority mid.
And this is why it's so important to be faster on getting to your camps. If he didn't waste all that time on the Ambessa and that wasted time looking for that top gank, he could be
He's on
done
drag.
Gromp and he could be going to the Grubs or Dragon.
He's do drag.
He would have more freedom, but when you start stuffing up your clears as jungle, you get trapped in these
You feel
scenarios.
rushed.
Yeah, and it's not fun, and there's no solution. Like I mean, he's in a really bad spot. It's like, do we do Grubs on spawn or do we do?
I think
And
Gromp-
this is also really awkward as well because your level 5 is Fiddle, isn't it? Like, you're kind of...
And also the worst part about it is that if we did Gromp, we get level 6 off Grubs. But the
Yeah,
fact
now
now
you
we
don't
don't get
get
level 6,
6.
that
That's
the break
huge.
point is massive. You're gonna have different
and
results in your gameplay.
he's now on the top side, so he's never going to take this Gromp. He's going to finish this, and then he's going to
Then
have to
what?
go to his Raptors probably
top
because they're going
camps.
to be up.
And then
Yeah.
also the top laner could easily come out of base and... Right?
And the enemy jungler could also be
That's
Path
the next complicated thing, is he thinks because Garen got the solo kill that he has top prior, but it's actually the opposite because of how death timers work, right?
All right, you did grubs pretty fast this Fiddle.
Yeah, he smited the second one there, but yeah, you do it very quickly. But
And Bessa could have easily been here earlier as well, by the way, so he could have easily got caught on these. But again, he gets away. He's getting away with these objectives all the time. But again, in other games, he's not. He's ruining the games probably.
But you'd be level 6 here.
Yeah.
I will say
wait. This is
Yeah.
Shouldn't we just be on Raptors?
Yes, for level 6.
You need level 6. No way, he runs a dragon.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
So this is another thing where he didn't get punished, but I'm pretty sure if that Ari is more on the ball, he can just get like charm flashed or something, and they can just go for a kill on him. Like he just crossed mid as a level 5.
So this is again, you can see he's tunnel visioning on neutral objectives. He's not valuing his camps. Just getting to level 6, right? Just get to level 6, right? Isn't that your number one priority?
100%. I would never do a level 5 dragon as Fiddle unless you have like the god priority, right?
And people will sometimes get confused here is that they think, okay, well people tell me neutrals are really important. And then other people tell me I should be doing my camps. If you have really good tempo and you have great decision making, you can do both. You can have all your camps off the map and dragons. This exists.
And Bessa could just be taking your entire top side now, right?
And we've not cherry picked these VODs. I really want to be clear about it.
8 minutes every time.
8 minutes, all the top side.
He could just lose his top side camps.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And also this is why junglers have low CS. This specific point in the game is where people lose so much fun because they lose their mind over the objectives and they're just too slow to things.
Yeah, you can see how it's a lot of small things adding up, isn't it?
Well, it's a slippery slope, I think is a better way to put it. When you make one mistake, you're just like, you're on the roller coaster.
And we do this dragon, and his instinct is not to go to camps, it's to look for a play and force a play with dragon.
And look at the bot wave as well.
There's waves basically going to be just neutral in the next
And they're
going
to know you're here.
And it's announced to the team so you know you're there. All your top cams are up. Like, these are end of review
He's going to have 6 camps up any minute. Like, 6 camps.
If you ever have 6 camps up just in jungle in general, but especially farming jungle, it's end of review.
Also, if we're going to get Fiddlesticks specific, the way you would gank this, if you ever wanted to, would be you would lane gank. Exactly. Thank you, Curtis. You would lane gank. Like, again, he's trying to show himself on vision and scare people.
Lane gank here would be
I think that's if you lane gank. Exactly. That's actually a reason why you would skip the top camps. Maybe.
To double kill bot. If that were your win con.
But this is like hard to review at a certain point, Nathan, because he's so far away from optimal.
Yeah.
And with jungle, you can be optimal. You can actually be optimal at this point in the game.
That's the difference between jungle and laners. Like, you can like genuinely replicate perfect early games as like, oh my goodness.
So I think what happened here is he actually feared the Gromp before going in. So his fear was on cooldown, if we get specific. Like, what did he... Yeah, he does this a lot. Like... Anyone listening, do not use your fear on camps. It does not speed it up that much. It does 200 damage, and now it's on cooldown for 15 seconds. Literally, just never fear a camp.
But even in general, like, you don't know if Ari has R. Like, why would you R the Ari here? In general, right? I mean, I guess maybe he doesn't know.
There's a limit test again.
Limit test, yeah.
I mean, yeah, if he had fear, he can maybe kill the Ari, but...
if he had fear, maybe.
Because Twisted Fate does have ulti, yeah, but again, he's not doing it with...
Right, no
Ari did have ulti, by the way.
Your bot lane, your support wasn't even in lane.
So unfortunately, this is like a very low quality death, and it's kind of hard to take much away from it.
The game is just in such a weird state that it doesn't have to be in.
And this is why a lot of the time with reviewing, it's like you want to be especially the new players are really focused on the early game because let's polish up all this, and then your games are going to become it actually becomes much easier, and because the moment you start having these early games like this, like I could keep reviewing the rest of this, but you're basically going to have to play fights really well and like just to the point where it's just sort of not realistic.
So this is how laners play jungle. So I frequently see this. They say, Curtis, I'm a gold mid laner, but I play jungle and I win and I always climb with jungle. You know why? It's not that they know any of this. They just do there's all this dumb shit and then they out skirmish their way through the game. They get into this exact position. They'll rock up to a fight, play it well mechanically, out skirmish the opposing jungler, and then win the game. You're not really playing jungle.
No. And you can get results with that way, but you're going to have extreme...
Super inconsistency.
And
you'll just cap out wherever your skirmishing
Well, the second you verse a jungler that can do both, you're just going to lose every game.
Every game, yeah.
Yeah, correct.
So this has actually been really eye-opening for me, seeing you guys, break down these jungle VODs. And it's really opened my eyes to just how in control you are of your first 8 minutes as a jungler.
100%.
Like, it's so in your hand, especially in these elo brackets, right? Like,
there's zero pressure.
The junglers aren't doing anything. The jungler has no idea where you are. you're getting your camps on spawn basically all the time. No one's invading you. No one's contesting your
There's
raptors.
very few difficult decisions to make,
Yeah,
honestly.
it's
It's
not
a lot just saying no.
And it's all based in fundamentals.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's all based on fundamentals. Like, it's super replicable.
Yeah.
It's super, super replicable.
Yeah, so if Ludwig actually just focused more on getting back to his camps and hitting level 6 and did some basic jungle tracking, his first 8 minutes would look entirely
And
different.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. The fact that he is the rank that he is now, what, Silver 2 or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Silver 4.
Silver 4, doing this
It's weird, isn't it?
is actually impressive.
It is. He must
Isn't
be doing
it?
something
He
quite
must
well.
be doing other things well. Maybe his skirmishing later in the game is better, or he's more mentally poised, or whatever the hell it is. Because he's making some like really big errors.
How does this game go? Can we just jump forward like 15 minutes? Like, what's it like?
Like, maybe he's good at getting R angles or something.
He wins this
He
game.
wins this game. So that you know, case in point. You know, like this is exactly what I mean. Like the fact that he's winning these games, like props to you, man. You're doing other things right. You don't need to work on this other shit. Let's just nail down that first 8 to 10 minutes. Understand the underlying fundamentals.
Yeah, and it's actually sometimes
The games will win itself.
like the way we're talking about this, it's like we're making the assumption that it's obvious to focus on the first 8 minutes, but let's just put it out there really solidly. That's where your attention should be as a jungler and as a laner, as anyone approaching League of Legends, because that's when there's less variables and you can have the most control, right? So that's why we're putting our emphasis there, just to be clear. Like, we're not going to bother going into the mid game, because by that point, you could have kind of already won, especially as a jungler.
You could get so far ahead of it.
Yeah, 100%.
And you could be so inefficient at that point as well in the mid
Correct.
game, because you'd be so far ahead anyway. You would just stat check people.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we have the reference points of just get your camps, get strong, make plays at 6, is by the time you get to mid game, the fights play themselves.
Okay, so let's conclude. So to summarize everything and conclude, I guess, this case study. You know, look, sure, there's all those shenanigans we saw at the start with the stats, you know, his process or lack thereof. And look, at the end of the day, he's having a crack. You can tell he's got intensity. He's definitely invested in getting those results. But the way he's going about it is so goddamn inefficient. And based off his gameplay, based off everything we're seeing, he's just lacking the core jungle fundamentals, right? So you guys as jungle coaches, what would be your list of priorities? If this is your client, what were some core things? In what order specifically would you give these? Because we spoke about a lot of things. We spoke about tracking the enemy jungler, you know, max range Qs on Amumu, playing in accordance to reference points. Where would you start?
Well, first of all, I would look at how much damage last stand did. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You get into it, Nathan. What is he meant to do?
So first thing is champion first. I mean, this is, you obviously know this as well. This is what our philosophy is.
Reference
It's champion first, sort of game second. So our reference points, again, the R with the Fiddlesticks, the Amumu, the Q usage, the ability usage, the Amumu Qs we saw, you know, let's try and stop throwing those max range Qs. Let's see how so that's step number 1. Make sure we're playing our champion, we're maximizing our damage. Awesome. Then I'll go down to the jungle tracking again. I always say, like, let's just keep it simple. Check where the enemy jungler starts. Just in your first clear, you know if I'm going to be matching or I'm going to be pathing opposite, because that will really change your decision making. So those are really the first ones. That's all. That's all I'll really say for him.
But you would start with
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And then we could get into, then the next one will be, okay, what makes a good gank? What makes a bad gank? Make sure that if we're skipping a camp, we have a good reason to skip a camp. Make sure we're sequencing our camps correctly. That's probably where I'll go next.
Yep.
I agree with Nathan on both of those.
So that's obviously the practical things for the gameplay. I want him more so to, like, you know, hearing Charlie and I just get so excited reviewing these mistakes, because there's so much potential with a silver jungler. You can just, you know, start
The world's
skyrocketing
your
up.
oyster, honestly.
Yeah,
100%.
You know how he's at the beginning, he said, I hate this game. It's like, get into the detail. It's so fun. Like, it shouldn't be boring. I don't want it to be boring, right? There's so much opportunity here. It's so exciting for him in his journey here. I love that he's streaming it. I love that he's like really, you know, but, you know, when I hear things like, I just want to get platinum to never play this game again, you know, it's like, it's so like, you know, it's such a missed opportunity here. This could be a league experience that he thinks on. It's like, let's say if he does quit at Platinum. I learned how to learn the game through League, a really hard game. He could look back on his life on this and be like, this was a really cool pivotal moment. I love this part of my YouTube career. This was really cool for my audience as well.
And I think as well, like how, you know, all these things we've been mentioning, it's kind of cool and exciting. Like, this is what makes League fun. But how unfun it is when you're just thinking, I'm 4 games away from, oh my God, I'm 7 games away from silver. You know, that stuff is just takes away from all of the beauty of what the League of Legends actually is. You know, that's what I even taken away from it. Like, it's just a reminder. Holy shit, the game is the game. Get into the details. You know.
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, yeah, bit of a fake process on his end. I feel bad because he probably feels like he's taking some good steps, but definitely need to actually look at some gameplay. I would say get a bit more curious about like what your games look like, even just reflecting on kind of what were the outcomes and how did I influence them. You know,
that's the big one. You know, my Quinn went 0-6. I mean, how easy would that have been in that? If let's say none of this stuff that we talk about jungle tracking,
Just
reference
play
that,
strong side.
Yeah.
How did I influence my Quinn to go 0-6?
Yeah, I mean, remember, he got that.
Yeah, he
at best
created
of-
that.
How did I potentially contribute to that? He did
Correct.
it twice, remember? That's all as simple as it is. How did I influence Quinn going 0-6? That's where it can start.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
You don't have to have the perfect answer, but just get curious.
So hopefully people can take something away. You know, take something away from this case study. A lot of beautiful information. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you thought of this case study. And I guess if you have any other potential case study options for us in the future.
Subjects. I like to with subjects,
Yeah.
candidates.
Throw your
Always-
friends under the bus.
Yeah, we're always open to them. All right, well, that's it. Wraps up today's episode / case study. We'll see you guys next week.